Welcome back, one and all, here to the Riyadh Masters as we are rounding out the day with one final BO2 group stage matchup between Team Secret and Team Aster. This has been a really spectacular day of Dota, a day full of surprises, a day full of extremely close games, and of course I have expectations that the last one will fulfill all the promise and more that we've had throughout this day. I've been replacing some members of my panel. I've got Fear, I've got BSJ, Lacoste is still with us. And Fear, I'm looking at Team Secret coming into this. How does Puppy keep doing it, man? Year on year on year, the first 6 months, mid. But there's years he'll be dominant, but somehow he keeps making new teams that somehow challenge at the biggest tournaments of all time.
Well, he's got the experience to back it. He knows how to build a roster. He knows how to compete at the top. He knows what it takes to get here. And throughout the year, things aren't going well. He knows the pieces he needs to change to be able to make it happen. And he's phenomenal at doing so. And he's back. And well, hopefully we see a good run from Secret here.
Hopefully we do see a good run. Of course, they came in from the play-ins, and BSJ, every time Team Secret have found themselves in this kind of position where they have to start at the bottom of a tournament, right? They seem to be one of these squads that gain an incredible amount of momentum going deeper and deeper in. Wouldn't you be terrified about playing against this team right now? Wouldn't you have rather beaten them in the play-ins and just kept them down forever?
Yeah, out of all the teams that didn't just have the smooth sailing, like you all the way back to TI-11, like they were last chance qualifiers all the way to second place, and that's something that you mentioned, the experience that Puppy brings. Like he's a captain that it's his way or the highway. Like you're gonna conform to the way he wants to build this team, and if there's somebody that's out of line, it's like not their fault, maybe they just don't fit right in. He's gonna replace them and find a better way to do it.
Yep. One of the pieces of the puzzle that he had in his squad here was Sumail, who's playing in the mid lane of Team Aster at the moment. And unfortunately, Team Aster didn't necessarily have the best results at the Bali Major. They made some changes. They broke up the long-standing duo of XXX and Baboka. Lacoste, you've been covering this region of China for a very long time. What difference does Kaka make? To actually tell people who aren't aware of how much of an immediate upgrade you normally experience when you add Kaka.
Yeah, that's just Kaka effect pretty much. Every single time he joins a team, immediately team performs like 2 times better. Sometimes it's relatively short, for a couple of weeks, but this is exactly what they needed. No, right now, they need to perform, they need to build some momentum as well. These group stages are really important, and also to feel like where they're going with their own drafts, because XXS and Boca, they split up. They've been playing together for what, like 4 or 5 years together, and this is a big change to the roster.
Yeah, it's a very big change. Speaking of XXX, part of that duo, I know many words were said, BSJ. You were not a fan of how he played at the Bali Major. You often highlighted him as the reason why they lost crucial games. What have you made of his performance here at the Riyadh Masters, given how much better he's looked with Kaka in the mix?
I felt like it's never been his actual play, it's just his items and vision of the game, so I think that that's usually something that has to do with synergy between teammates. And if you change one piece of the puzzle, suddenly that might have been the final piece that needed to make the whole picture come together. So for someone like him, it could be a comfort thing, it could be a matter of just, they talked about what happened at Bali Major, it could be a combination of the two, and I'm really liking to see that he's coming back, because it's not that I don't believe in him as a player, it just felt like in these crucial moments where you know what Sumail is going to offer, you know what the rest of the team is going to offer, and it's like XSS had to tie it together. They kind of have to have a core that takes a step back and fills in the gaps in the draft.
Well, Team Aster right now are finding themselves with a much more holistic picture of their Dota 2. Let's find out what their journey has looked like to get to the Riyadh Masters, hearing directly from Team Aster themselves.
Actually, today is the first time I've seen the entire team again since Bali. I went to States, they went to China. So I think we have 2 days of scrims before we play seedings. To be honest, I don't know. I didn't really know how the dynamic worked with the other 4s. No, I don't know now how it's gonna work now, but I am hoping for good stuff, as always. Optimistic. The thing is, I learned Chinese, Mandarin completely in the past 2 months, so now we just speak in native tongue. Yeah, I'm super fluent, as a matter of fact. It's surprising that I speak better than some, actually, on the team, so there's no problem anymore. No, I understood that I have a huge fan base in China, except for that little incident in 2016. But even that, after like a few months, the settled down and everything was... Because the TI9 was in China, and every time I walked out, it felt like I was in the US, I was playing in home crowd, so I had an idea. I don't know, I didn't follow much, but I didn't follow much the Chinese scene, and I like the players on Aster. Like they've been playing a long time, and most of them have been they have performed well at TI, especially XXS and Monet. So I never thought about stuff like that.
King himself joining Team Aster. What have you made of this, Fear? How has he performed to your expectations? You've played with him, you know what his ceiling is like, you know he's capable of winning TI, you've done the tournament with him. Is this in with this roster? Do they have another shot of doing it again? Can he get another ring?
It's possible, for sure. I will say he's looked the best he's looked on any team for the past couple of years on this Aster squad. He's finally given the freedom that he needs as a player. And I think Aster just kind of like, you know, you're the king, join the team, we'll play around you, you play what you want to play. And that's the type of player that Sumail is. And enabling that is going to make him shine.
Yep. Well, they're going to be going up against Team Secret, a squad that has a lot of experience, has a lot of understanding about the game. It's Puppy overall. Two things I want to quickly ask you, BSJ. Firstly, how difficult is it to draft against Puppy, right? Because you have to address his Enchantress, you have to address his Enigma, probably have to address his Chen. There's not that many 5-position players in the world right now that command that degree of attention in the draft.
I feel like this specific team that he has this year is not all that difficult to draft against in terms of like what you think is coming. Like, it may be difficult to deal with what he's going to bring. As you mentioned, he's got these highly specialized heroes, but dealing with a player like Crystallis, who's very highly specialized as a carry as well. In the past, I think Puppy kind of prided himself on being able to pick literally anything and making it work, similar to what we see like LGD try to do. But I don't think that's really the secret we see this year, and that's part of why I think Puppy's kind of had to take a step back and like reevaluate, how do I make this version of Secret work?
Something else I also wanted to ask you about is, you're a man numbers guy, right? Coming into the group stages, there's two things that stood out to me very heavily. First was that before today, Dire had a 60% win rate versus the Radiant side, right? But 70% of teams were choosing to go for the Radiant side, right? And then would get first pick. It was 70% first pick plus Radiant coming into the group stages. What do you think contributed to that, despite Dire winning so much?
I think Radiant, for a carry specifically, feels way easier to play. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but the rotation from the Twin Gate feels much simpler as a carry, and then it also feels easier to protect your Ancients on this side. I think invading the Dire side, like I remember reading on Dota Buff that the win rate of like 5 or 6 ranged carries was infinitely higher on Radiant. It was like 60%, and then their win rate on Dire was 45%. So that might just come with a situation of like, these heroes feel more comfortable on the map right now, because it's definitely not mirrored like it tends to be.
So one of the other things that we've seen at this particular tournament, Lacoste, Extreme Gaming is doing well. Aster is clearly doing very well. We just saw LGD being able to defeat Gaming Gladiators. They've been lackluster throughout the year, unfortunately, the Chinese region. We know there's a financial incentive, right? But what changed between Bali and now that has allowed this region to perform so much better than expected?
I think they also figured out that this Western style of Dota, they need to adapt to it to be able to win, because you can already see that some of the other teams, because like Aster, they're bringing in Sumail, so he's bringing in some fresh ideas as well, because he's been playing in the region for a really long time. And then you have also like Extreme Gaming, who tend to go for a bit of a different picks, considering how they were playing at the DPC previous majors as well. So a bit of a surprise, I would say, but also needed adaptation from some of these teams. And also Celery, like he talked in an interview after the game, is like, yes, he's seeing his own drafts while watching the other teams.
One of the common things that we see in drafts around this season in Time Fear, we're close to TI, right? Which means, Faith Beyond was mentioning earlier, teamfight heroes will come back, but particular, we're going to get Enigmas, we're going to get Tinies. ET sneaks in a little bit here. Like, from your perspective, having played there, do teams actually talk about this and have that conversation about, guys, in these high-stakes tournaments, it's time to pivot back towards teamfight?
I don't think you have the direct conversation that we need to do this. It kind of just naturally happens as you're playing these games. You're a little more stressed out than usual. You're anxious, and then all of a sudden you play a lineup that's really high-paced. You can't make many mistakes. Maybe you can perform with that, like online or something. But in the back of your head, you know, if I make a mistake with this lineup, we die. You know, we're not gonna get the $5 million prize pool. That's a huge deal, right? So you play the easy to execute. You press the big buttons, you win the team fights, you win the game. And that's generally like what people will go back to time and time again, because more pressure, the easier it is for you to lose games by playing risky strats. Just go for a team fight. It's a lot easier.
One of the risky strats that has been paying off a little bit, though, has been Lycan. That's the one outside influence that I've seen in this. Check this out, Brian. 10 games, 80% win rates coming into the group stage. And the couple of games that I did see it was paired once with Enigma as well, where they're just like, just ball, do this thing, right? Are we going to see more of that this tournament, do you think?
I wouldn't be too surprised, not only because Lycan is a universal hero that right-clicks, that has not been touched by the nerfs, but also because he's a flex pick. I think those are always value. He's not necessarily going to be a first pick, in my opinion. I think he is counterable in 2 different lanes at the same time in a draft if you have multiple picks to do it. But if you see one good matchup for him in the side lanes already, then you're guaranteed you can just move him to that matchup no matter what.
We're going to be seeing if these two squads make that decision in game one as we are about to get into it. Team Aster versus Team Secret. And to bring us the squads, I bring you Tsunami and Fancy.
It is time to begin the final series here on day one of the group stage, Fancy. Let's get it started.
Let's get it started indeed أعزائنا المشاهدين. هذا هو الجيم الأخير اللي راح نشهده اليوم بس فتومة بين فريقين عريقين معنا في عالم دوتا. خلينا نشوف مين بيكون الفريق الأفضل.
The two teams are going head to head here. Aster, top seed of their group in the play-in stage, only dropping one game so far.
فريق أستر بعد ما تواجد معنا في البلاينز إلى الآن إلى اللحظة هذه ما خسر إلا جيم واحد فقط، لكن هل بيقدر يغير الشيء هذا تيم سيكرت خصمهم أو لا؟
And on the other side, it's Team Secret making their debut here on LAN for the first time this year. But lest we forget, last year at Riyadh Masters 2022 is when Secret really started to get their magic that carried them to a second place finish at last year's International.
السنة الماضية فريق سيكرت كان متواجد معنا في المسرح، ودنا نشوف وش اللي ممكن يسوونه في هذه السنة، لأن السنة الماضية أدائهم ما كان سيء أبداً.
The sun's gone down around here, Fancy, but it seems like things are still heating up here on the stage.
I mean, that's exactly what's happening, Tsunami. Honestly, we're ready for this match. It's the last match of the day, and I can't wait to get it started. So shall we bring out the teams?
I think we're getting just about ready. I'm feeling it, so let's do it. We saw PSG LGD, we saw Extreme. Let's bring out the third Chinese team to the main stage. Team Aster! Oftentimes it seems like Aster has a bit of a honeymoon period. Every time they swap out a player here and there, it looks great, but can they maintain that momentum throughout the tournament?
في كل مرة نشهد فيها تيم أستر متواجد الآن معنا في المسرح، نحصل إنه أدائهم يكون جدا متميز، بعدها يتدنى في نهاية البطولة. هالشيء هذا هل بتكون قصتهم معنا في رياض ماستر في هذه السنة ولا لا؟
And for this time last year, it was Team Secret that brought in two new players. Seemed untested, but magic was happening on the stage.
أعزائنا المشاهدين الآن خصم زي ما قلنا لكم ما هو غريب عن رياض ماسترز، شاهدناهم السنة الماضية كانوا في المركز الخامس السادس، أدائهم أبدا ما كان سيء. خلونا نتعرف عليهم نرحب فيهم على المسرح. في أول حدث لان من سنة كاملة رحبوا معنا بتيم سيكريت. تيم سيكريت السنة الماضية كانوا متواجدين في هذا المسرح وكانت آخر بطولة لان لهم، لكن بعدها شاهدنا بابي بقيادته يصنع لنا روستر جديد، والروستر هذا جاهز انه يقدم لنا افضل ما عندهم، خصوصا انه ادائهم الفترة الأخيرة ما كان الافضل.
It may be the first time that Secret has taken the stage all year, but they're no strangers to it whatsoever. And it seems like this time the crowd's pretty split, Fancy.
I mean, honestly, everyone is so excited. Let's see how it goes. الآن فريق سيكريت أحسن شيء نبي نعرف عنهم إنه في آخر مرة تواجدوا معنا في الرياض أدائهم كان مو طبيعي، وبعدها تدنى المستوى. رجعوا في الرياض، رجعوا في مسرحهم، هل يقدرون يسوونها مرة ثانية؟ هذا اللي نبغى نعرفه.
All right then, you guys ready for some Dota out here? That's what I like to hear. Let's get into the chairs then, gentlemen.
جاء الوقت الآن أعزائنا المشاهدين نروح عندنا للاستوديو على طول ونتكلم أكثر عن إيش ممكن يصير في الدرافت، ونبدأ في الجيم الأول.
You have to go back to 2006 before you find a year that Puppey is not competing on the main stage of an international tournament. This man has done it all on Team Secret. Teamaster obviously really want to try and take them down. And Lacoste, BSJ mentioned something very interesting about how you know right now what Team Secret is going to be bringing. We know they're going to be prioritizing Chrysalis like his PL, his Bloodseeker. Yamich is probably going to be playing Monkey King. Some lane controller coming in from Puppey. Given all that information that's available, doesn't it make it a little bit easier to defeat them? Or do you think it's one of these things where it actually adds pressure because you know what you have to deal with, but you might over-prepare instead of being relaxed about the matchup?
I mean, this is Puppey we're talking about, so he has a couple of aces up his sleeve, no doubt about it. Like, drafting against him. Like, if we go back in time, Puppey has always been like a stubborn captain. If he thinks something can work, he's going to make it work. Sometimes it's going to take him a couple of games, sometimes a whole tournament, sometimes 3 months, but eventually he's going to make it work, and that's the strength of the Puppey overall. But, you know, people have been talking about Chrysalis, how, you know, he has limited hero pool, and one of the reasons why they've been first phasing some of these heroes, as you mentioned, you know, going for the Bloodseeker, Morphling, Medusa, depends on the patch that they've been playing on. But this also leaves a lot of variety on in these different roles, because both FBZ and Armel can pop off. Like, leaving last pick for Armel on the mid lane can be really devastating, considering that he plays these cheesy heroes like Meepo, Huskar. These are his specialties, so got to be aware of those as well.
Talk to me about this Meepo hero, PSJ. We
Yeah,
know
you're
that
a Meepo
what
expert.
changed? What changed about the hero?
I am so good at micro, you have no idea. Yeah. I mean, what made Meepo, I think, so much better now is, like, it's similar to what happened with, I'm trying to think of another example, but it's an item build problem. Like, this hero didn't have a build that made sense for him. It's like the Jug. Like, nobody was building Jug with this crit with the Battle Fury, and suddenly Yatoro shows us that's how it is, and we see Jug all throughout Bali Major. And it's like, right now with Meepo, he's never had, like, a role in the game. Like, what are his timings? What does he do on the map? And you have, like, a little bit of everything, but now you have this Atos. So your timing is just crisp. You're suddenly a reliable initiator, where this Atos 100% sets up your net. So imagine if Atos for any other hero in the game was a 6-second route. You know, that's what we're looking at with Meepo. And then you go in for the Ags, which makes it difficult to focus you, which usually is like the struggle that you have, is they have to commit on any of your other Meepos and you can save them. So I love Dota in the sense that sometimes it's just not figured out yet. There's so many heroes to look at. All it takes is one player. Like,
yeah, I mean, for players who are just like watching, not playing as much Dota, and then they see like Mega Meepo, like what is that?
the actual assembly part where there's like a Meepo that's weak. What happened to him?
I mean, this hero's crazy because, like, not only does he stack on top, you throw him, and then he burrows underground. You're like, what the hell is happening right now?
Like, where did this come from? What has Icebrock been cooking up? It's been fun to watch. For me, the best part about it, Fear, is not the fact that he's playing so well, but that you can play him safe lane, you can play him mid, you can play him off lane, and he can fulfill different roles, right? Just itemizing differently changes exactly what he does in the game. Like, it's kind of crazy. And honestly, I didn't even know there were that many Meepo players at the tournament.
Everyone at some point at this level has been a Meepo player. They've just been waiting for their day. And they found the item build to make it happen. And now all these great Meepo players, like Armel is coming out, maybe Orbit will play it eventually at some point. There's a lot of great Meepo players out there. Just none of them play it because they just all thought it was trash. And now they've seen the light. Now they're like, oh, I want to try that. Maybe they try it out. This is actually good. So now Meepo's back.
Meepo is indeed back. Another hero that has been returning into the fold has been this Lion hero. Kaka Lion Lacoste. He's going to play it. Are they going to ban it on the side of Team Secret?
Yeah, I think this hero either gets banned or picked by Kaka, because, you know, I'm still looking for Shadow Shaman. If there's one guy that's going to make it work, that's definitely going to be Kaka. Like, if we go back to Riyadh Masters last time when they were playing qualifiers, it was me who was covering the qualifiers as well, so I remember, like, he's back in action, you know, team gets the boost, he plays these heroes. Kaka Nyx Assassin as well. I think that's also the third hero that is, like, not contested at all, but considering that he's the one playing, you know, we might see it.
So speaking of contestation, there is a couple of heroes that have about equal contestation. Rubik, Undying, Snapfire, Timbersaw. But BSJ, the most picked hero by quite some margin has been Rubik at this tournament. Why? What is it about this hero? And he often gets picked first phase as well.
Well, what happened after the Bali Major was just a nerf patch to all the S-tier heroes. What we saw is most notably Techies as like this 4-position ranged guy that's meant to harass and poke you out of lane and just secure the off lane. Like, it felt really good if you're a 3-position to just have a Techies. And I think Rubik's the new Techies in the sense that you pick him first, he's going to fade bowl range creeps. Lane's never a disaster. He offers team fight. He offers follow-up damage. He has a stun. So he was pretty much an A-tier hero before, but because Techies and other, like a Skywrath Mage was so highly prioritized at Bali, he didn't get seen very much because of that. Just outshined by better heroes.
You know, another hero that was picked a lot as a position 4, but now has been creeping up into a more of a core role here. When we started Lima earlier this year, we only saw Snapfire mid once or twice.
Yeah.
Now it feels like it's almost every game. People have even forgotten about picking its support. Is it still viable in that role? And what makes it so good to play mid, given that we have a lot of Snapfire players in this particular lobby?
Well, since Lima, we had this wonderful patch called Universal Heroes, and that has made any hero that is universal more viable as a core than a support, just because of the scaling alone. Still can be played as support, but just the fact that you are a universal hero, you can go to the mid lane. That's all you need in Dota right now. You just got to be universal. You can go mid and you can scale. And, you know, you have the little shredder talents. What better scaling could you ask for through this hero?
What better scaling could you ask for? We're definitely going to see Snapfire involved in this game. Team Secret play it all across multiple roles. FBZ plays it, RML plays it, Yamich plays it, and of course Team Aster, they do the same. Although Sumail has shown that, you know, he can play it, but he's like, guys, just give me a left right rather, you know. Let me have something a bit more fun. But now we are going to be finding out what happens in this game as the first draft is underway. Team Aster, of course, you have to ban Enigma. We know it's coming, but why would you give it to them, honestly, BSJ? Just get rid of it as soon as possible.
As a carry player who usually has to lane against that crap, I absolutely endorse never having to play against Enigma in an Enigma patch.
Pretty much. I mean, this hero, like it is an offlane hero, but when you're playing against Secret, most likely going to be played from position 5, which ruins your lane. Nobody likes to play into this. The same like as Ledge years back when he had the sacrifice ability. But yeah, this is the Snapfire that we talked about, which is a bit of a, I would say, a surprise here for me, because sure, you know, Armel, he can play it, he does love to play the hero, but there's a lot of these support, because if we go back to the previous series, supports were heavily contested in the first phase. You know, Io, Enchantress, Undying, so all these heroes are still available.
I think it's team specific though, because
Yeah.
Kaka has played it as well as Armel, and once you have a team that has a hero that both can play and is in the meta, that gets a bit scarier too. And that's one thing about Enigma as well in this patch is it's an offlaner, but most games that I've seen through the play-ins, it's been on pos 5. If it's like, if they think it's not the best game or if it's adequately countered in the offlane, they'll just put on pos 5, and with the buffs to Malefice, it seems to be doing really well in the safe lane too.
Yeah, I would argue that there's certain heroes that are also way better on second pick than they are on first pick. You emphasized earlier, Snare, how teams prioritize different things, and we see like Snapfire as just a well-rounded flex pick, can kind of go anywhere, does a lot of different things in the game, and I think those type of heroes generally do better in the second pick slot, because you know you're going to be dealing with a counter into 3 bans.
Poppy is like, you know, we've experienced this before. Bloodseeker in the first phase looks good against Timbersaw. He gave me the smile. I think I can read Bloodseeker from that smile.
The question is, what do they pair it with? Because normally, if it's available in the pool, so far in the play-ins, they have prioritized getting Yamich's Monkey King, but we've also seen the rise of Io so far in the group stages. So which stands out to you, Fear, as the viable option for Team Secret to pair with the core?
For Team Secret, I mean, the Bloodseeker definitely is something you're looking at, or Monkey King, Bloodseeker, similar heroes. I prefer the Bloodseeker, but they're both Crystallis heroes, and, you know...
Yamich has been playing it mostly for them this tournament. The Monkey
Will
King.
they pick
It's
Monkey
also
King and
one of
Bloodseeker?
Crystallits.
They did it.
Double counter, let's go.
Game 1 or Game 2 against, I forget, I think Execration in the group stage. But they
Yeah.
definitely have done Bloodseeker Monkey King.
Yeah,
It has
but
to be
we-
flex value, right?
Yeah, for sure. But if we go back, like, I don't know, a year ago, this is how Crystallis made the name for himself, playing Monkey King, Bloodseeker, Razor. These were his, like, 3 most played heroes.
Which makes me think, just by looking at this Batrider pick, Puppy hasn't played it yet, but neither has anyone but FBZ. So they might be looking at this potentially to be, it can be any lanes, right? But Bat is a flex pick. It can go either into the off lane, it can go on either support position. Don't really like mid much anymore, but it is good versus Timbersaw. I'm very curious to see if they're going to just lock in cores right away, because what else is Crystallis going to play versus a Timbersaw when Monkey King is already in the game? If you go back for that Bloodseeker, I guess you could.
One of the things we've seen throughout this tournament when teams are playing into the Monkey King is that they prioritize a vision kind of hero that can hunt the hero down, especially if he's jumping from tree to tree. We saw Mirana, Disruptor, Storm Spirit was also one of the options. Do you like them just going for the double core, getting the king his Storm Spirit?
I really like if you open on first pick, no matter what your first pick is, that your second pick is a core, because this is the most protected pick in all of your, on the first round, or the first pick team's draft, right? You have 3 picks, or sorry, you have 3 bans to immediately follow it up. You see like a lot of carries getting picked here, a lot of mid laners getting picked here, and this is for the exact reason, like you see Storm, what he offers you here is a hero that doesn't mind getting kited by the sticky napalm of Batrider, so he doesn't care about what Batrider has to do. You want to be able to jump him over cliffs with the Firefly, and then you also want to be able to catch Monkey King when he's on trees. And Storm Spirit's one of the best heroes to do that because his ball lightning destroys the trees. So it's a hero that Sumail plays, naturally counters both of the heroes it sees, and you get 3 bans to protect it. I love the pick myself.
Talk to me, Lacoste. Normally when we see Storm Spirit these days, it's paired with some kind of sustain. Pugna's fallen off a bit, Coddle's already banned. Is Io gonna get banned or picked?
I don't know if they want to go for Io. Like as you said, Pugna has been heavily nerfed like 2-3 times in a row, so I feel like that combo is just not as good. Like you were more relying on early levels from Pugna, like you hit that level 6 and it's going to take you a lot of time until you get that level 2 drain, so I think that's not an option anymore. But you know, maybe I could potentially see some Crystal Maiden sneaking in just to have a bit of an extra, some kind of a buff for Storm Spirit, because we've seen teamaster, like we've seen Sumail popping off completely on the Storm Spirit, and as Fear mentioned, like they really want to enable Sumail in this team. So
yeah, they definitely do. I'm just looking at this Monkey King pick, and like it's gonna be so hard for him to stay on trees this game. Even his own teammates are killing trees with the Batrider.
Yeah, just don't jump on the trees.
Yeah, but at that point, do you want to play this on
Monkey King.
Support, or do you want to play it as
I'd rather
a core?
be a support there, to be honest.
But then what's your point? You're just like, you can't be on the trees as a support? That feels
well, the whole point is as long as they never see you go on the tree, because you're just on the tree the whole time, then it's fine, right? So, like, as a support at least, we saw earlier, like, ZinQ getting caught out a few times. It's not nearly as costly, because as a carry, if you just get stunned for 4 seconds through BKB, you're just done for. The thing about this Storm is it does reveal that Timbersaw is most certainly an offlaner, which does leave them a bit vulnerable to Team Secret not even having to cloak whether or not this Monkey King is a carry or not in this next pick. But at the same time, I think Timbersaw will have no problem getting out of that lane regardless. Like, Monkey King may survive the lane, but I don't think there's really any hero individually that shoves Timbersaw out.
maybe Clockwork might be hard.
Yeah, Clockwork would be nice. A lot of teams are
one.
prioritizing that.
But Clock for Storm, yet again, this Timber Storm is looking like it's covering a lot of its bases against what Secret can do. I do like the Lion ban as well from Team Secret, of course, against Kako.
Well, Fear, you know, you're a carry player that won TI. Like, you see those two heroes. Why don't they just slam pick Anti-Mage right now?
Well, because that would be dumb, because then you lose the flex of the Monkey King. And on top of that, Timbersaw versus Anti-Mage is a skill-based matchup. It ain't the same matchup as before. Timbersaw, when he hits you, it actually hurts now.
Oh, that's true.
He is a universal hero.
What about on 18? Like, what about like the next pick of Team Secret?
And Anti-Mage is just a bad carry hero right now. Just
yeah, it's a bit too slow. Like,
yeah, very slow.
There's a time where you can maybe play with 4 by enough time, but if your lanes are falling apart, then having Anti-Mage. Dota these days can be too quick, like losing XP runes, but like losing map advantage, losing the tower, just gives away too much to the enemy team. I don't know why I'm feeling a Meepo for Secret. I feel like against Storm, against Timber,
it's good.
It works out amazingly. As we said, builds into Atos, which does ruin all of these heroes. And sometimes you lack early damage against Timber. Meepo's that guy, you know, that brings an extra Meepo, extra lockdown for him. Not necessarily right now, but maybe as the last pick.
No.
There's the Kaka hero, Kaka Rubik. What do we have to steal in this game here, BSJ? What spells stand out? Firefly can be pretty good. Tree Dance, in their favor, can be quite nice for additional vision.
Yeah, there's no like ultra high impact spells that are just gonna like turn the team fight, but there's a lot of nice things that'll help him play the map. Whether it's Firefly, whether it's just Curse to clear waves, it's the Monkey King, Primal Spring. They go for the Venomancer. That's almost like a slam in Puppy's face here, as he's been the one that's been picking it all tournament. I guess it counters core and support Monkey King.
Yeah.
It kind of secures your safe lane against either of the potential 4s right now, because it could be Monkey King or Batrider 4. And since they're going to be having carry 9th pick, which could potentially be countered, it feels nice to have a support that conceptually counters the other 4.
Yeah, I think their plan is to have the Venomancer follow the monkey, whether it's either pos 4, then you put it in the safe lane.
Good call.
If you are in the, if you're playing versus a carry Monkey King, you'll just put the Venomancer into the off lane, so that makes a lot of sense there. And we talked about the roots, right, being good. Puck essentially with a leash does something similar as a Meepo would. Locks down these heroes for a long amount of time. And having heroes, when you're playing Monkey King, especially as like a carry, having something to lock heroes down inside of the Wukong's command is very underrated and not talked about enough, because you can just normally walk out of it. Boundless Strike isn't enough, but when you have that coil on top of Boundless Strike and the Wukong's, you can do serious damage.
And Flame Break, a lot of value
Rider,
from this ability, because you can bounce people inside Wukong's, you can break the coil as well. So team fight on side of Secret looks really good, and in terms of lockdown, Aster, they don't really have much against Puck. There's Vortex that has been nerfed as well, especially at the early levels. Then you have Rubik, who does tend to pick up like only 1 point in it, especially early on, and then you also have Global Silence to back him up. So I feel like this is a really, really good Puck game. But also thinking about where this Monkey is gonna go, might be a too difficult matchup to play him as a carry, so they might shift priority and just put Monkey Batrider as an offlane duo.
In prior tournaments, when we have seen some of the silencer, we've seen it paired with some range core in the safe lane to enable him to play from afar. Given what y'all are mentioning with this Venomancer dealing so well with the monkey, is that a particular avenue that they could explore on the side of Team Secret here, BSJ?
Oh, I'm really not sure, to be honest. I'm like, nothing's coming to mind for me, to be honest, like immediately from this pick.
First Timber?
SF, maybe?
Oh, SF.
SF,
you need
Faceless
somebody.
Void, people like.
Faceless Void's fine, especially with the team fight. Maybe I could see Wind Ranger as well. You know, Crystallis does love to play it, and they could sneak it in against Veno. You can't be slowed. Shackle as well against Timber later on.
I wouldn't mind Wind Ranger. The thing about the pick is I think it needs to be stable. Like,
yeah, this
because
is not a stable pick. Wind Ranger is
yeah,
like really hit or miss.
Yeah, it's like I don't know exactly what I'm laning against. I want a hero that can retreat to the jungle at like level 5, worst case scenario. Like that's just the absolute disaster you see there, because you have 2 other cores that you on Aster to avoid this disaster that have to be played around. Storm needs assistance in the mid lane. Timbersaw is a greedy core as well. Like he's going to need his farm. So as a carry, I'm envisioning that my first like 15 minutes, regardless if I win my lane or not, which is unlikely since I'm 9th pick, is going to be in the, what is it, the Mighty Mines, or is that the well down there?
Oh, well, on Radiant side,
that's the well. He's going to be down there for a while. So I'd really like a hero like Terrorblade would have been great.
Well done, BSJ.
Thank you.
For Team Aster, they're going to be the ones that have to reveal first. So what do we want to see here, Fear? They definitely need a carry hero. We need some punch. They don't have like absurd physical damage in their lineup. What would you be picking here if you're in the team?
I mean, I like Faceless Void for them too. If you think it's going to be a Batrider into the offlane, that could be a good response. You want to be able to let your support at some point leave the lane and you feel okay, or make rotations, so that could be good.
What about Alchemist?
Alchemist, it's just really volatile, right? You're playing versus Monkey King and Bat. You could make it work, potentially, but if they get on top of you, you could potentially feed as well, right?
It's true. I'm just thinking, I can't think of very many heroes like left in the pool that
Void's
can
banned anyway.
Yeah, that can just retreat to the jungle. They're either survivable like Void, like you said, or
Jug and something.
When you don't know what to pick, Jug always feels good. I think there's also, I mean, against Puck, PL, against all of these heroes, like you build into Manta style, I think it can work. But then again, you're
Playing versus Puck is usually typically very hard.
Okay, if there's one guy that can make this troll pick work, that's definitely Monet. I put a lot of trust in it. A lot of the times when you don't know what to pick, sometimes it comes to your mind like, it's a good troll game. It looks like that on paper, and maybe 3 minutes into the game and you're laning and they're like, man, we should not pick this hero.
No. It does not happen at 3 minutes. What happens with Troll Warlord, I'm speaking from personal experience here, is it's the first time you have to push your ultimate is when you're like, I should not have picked this hero.
But at Lima, one thing we often saw is that playing into the Monkey King carries, I think, were very bad against Troll. They lost a lot. There were only games and matchups that the Troll was winning reliably at that tournament. Wasn't played that much at Bali or Berlin, of course. In this context, would you want to be playing safe lane Monkey King into this draft right now?
No,
Probably
really.
not.
I think that if you put the monkey on support, it's good. Pick a ranged carry here. Keep your
Wind
distance.
Ranger, we're into this territory
down for
again.
Luna
I feel
too.
like
I mean, Drow Ranger's fine with me as well.
I'm fine with Luna. All these are fine with me. Yeah, like the thing about
Ho ho ha ha.
not in the storm. Not in the storm. Not into Storm, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, I would not put the Monkey King carry.
Is there Medusa in the game?
She's
No,
not.
Medusa's banned.
Oh, okay. Oh, very smart, very smart.
Yeah. So what carries are left at our range? So you guys mentioned Drow. We know that there's not Sniper is very unlikely. SF still here. Terrorblade is banned. Morphling's banned.
You basically don't want to play a hero that has to commit everything into Troll because you'll always lose on engagement. You want to play from afar, poke him. If you do want to commit, it has to be on top of like some lasso repositioning skill here. So
It also has to be like a BKB hero, right? Because they have Storm, Timber.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to do carry Monkey. Crystallis, he doesn't care about counters. He'll play against 5 heroes that counter him. He's still going to play his first pick Monkey King.
I don't know which last pick I disagree with more, but I think I'm going to side with Aster for this draft. I feel like Team Secret has a lot of like team fight aspects of the game going for them. I think their synergy, as like the way we talked about their abilities complementing each other, is much better. But I think like they just first picked a Monkey King that got countered and then left it as core, which just leads me to be really skeptical about him being able to carry the game. It might be just Armel show, because there are no reliable stuns for Armel. There are stuns, but not necessarily burst to follow it up.
You just gave Kaka Ravage too this game now.
That's true. There was an amazing teamfight spell, and now there you go.
There is, yeah. I don't know, maybe are they gonna be able to make this monkey work playing into offlane Timber? I do like Aster's draft way more. I think that they could zip around with this Storm Spirit and also make the usage of Rubik, good laning. Like, how do you lane? Like, what's a strong lane into Venomancer plus Troll? Like, how do you survive this? Sure, Tide maybe later on, but it's gonna be a lot of slow net. I don't think you can play this lane very effectively because Tide doesn't like to play into it.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Fio, if you look at this draft on Team Secret, how do they make it work? What should be accomplished in this game for them to win?
We'll just pick on the weak link, the Troll Warlord. This hero. This hero's very easy to gank. He's potentially going to have a bad laning stage if you make any rotations. You do have the Bat Rider in the lane. There's a lot of things you can do to make Troll have a bad game, and I don't really believe in this hero very much this patch, because if you do have a bad lane, it's hard to come back, and once your BKB runs out, it feels like you can't do much. You do have some BKB control here as well, but it's not going to be easy. I think you really do have to shut down and abuse the Troll Warlord this game if you are Secret.
All right, so let's hear these votes, gentlemen. Fio, who you got?
Well, I'm Aster.
Aster. Yes, Jay?
Aster.
Lacoste? Well, clean sweep for Aster. You know, I'm happy with this because, you know, no Chinese bias on this panel, none whatsoever. I do think one of the things we're probably going to see is that when Puppey, over the years, we've seen it many times. You're like, what the hell is Puppey doing? What's going on? And then you look at the draft actually being played out, and you're like, oh, okay, we see. You guys mentioned that Armel going to have to pop off. He's going to have to do very well. Let's witness if Team Secret can enable Armel or if it's going to be the Monet Troll Warlord that carries the game to victory for Team Aster. We find out with our incredible casters. We have Sunsfan, we have Kezu, we have some Dota 2 action. Take it away, boys.
In the last 5 years at least, there has never been a panel that has unanimously agreed that Troll Warlord will win a single Dota game in a series. Kezu.
Yes, thank you. That is a great point, and honestly, I will disagree with them. This is going to be the time where Monet Troll Warlord, he will carry them to victory.
What do you mean disagree? I just said they said he's going to win.
Yeah, there you go. Once again, English, not my first language, everyone. I agree with you guys. Well done, everybody.
Amazing intro.
Well done, everyone.
So
welcome.
not only is the panel in agreement, but you, who thought that they thought the opposite, will actually agree with them. Congratulations.
Huh?
You've done it.
We're all very smart here. We can agree with the smart people on the panel. TI winner carry, just giving me all the info.
All right, so now that the game has paused, which, as usual, I'm very happy with because we can talk about whatever, but I actually do want to talk about Dota just temporarily. Very temporarily, of course, depending on how long this pause is. Do you actually think Troll is good?
As a hero?
Yes.
No. He's very hard to make work. Like, let's be real. They covered some of the things already, like not being able to really control what you're doing. I would say this hero is a little similar to Luna in a way where the hero, like his strengths are the fact that you lane well, and you can be like a kind of a tempo carry that helps out your team take objectives. You get like your 1, 2, 3 key item timings, and you try to go fight. And I do think that this is a good Troll game. He's also laning with Veno against Tide later and like some +4 Bad Rider, so he should be set up for a good game. If Troll is gonna win a game.
Okay, let me ask you more important. Okay, it's fair.
First Roche will be important, yeah.
That's going to be a meme for the whole tournament. I can feel it already. All right. You like tier lists.
Yes.
This isn't exactly a tier list, but is there, and I'm not saying that this spell is completely useless all the time, but is there a worse spell in the game than Battle Trance?
So it has to be an old, right?
I mean, it doesn't have to, but
I mean, we can't really compare.
I mean, even as a basic spell, I don't know. But sure, let's
Soulbind is
compare
pretty
all.
bad right now.
Because of the interaction with BKB?
Kind of. Like, I think Soulbind is hard to make work, sometimes it's just useless. I think Battle Trance, you can still try to do something good with it.
What does that even mean? You can try to do something good with Soulbind.
Sure, but it's hard. It's harder than with Battle Trance.
I don't know.
Okay, you
That was a good answer. No, that was a good answer, though. I like how you're looking at the full Dota list of heroes to double check. That's the worst.
Okay, that's the ult.
I don't even know what it does. I don't even know what it does anymore.
You sacrifice some HP to give
cooldown reduction?
armor around and then like lower your cooldowns.
How's that bad? The hero is bad.
Dazzle is not played. Okay.
Yeah, but that's the hero's problem. It's not the spell.
Okay.
But these are good answers. These are good
you're
answers.
real good. You have good answers, but...
But you're wrong. The point is troll. All right. So what is the... Go ahead. You have something very important
No,
to say.
I'm just waiting for you to say something smart.
We're going to be here a while. What is Troll's build then in this patch? Is it still Battle Fury? Can you... I mean, we did see a period of time where people were getting, obviously, Maelstrom at some point and even Diffusal first item.
I mean, first of all, I checked, and there's not many people playing Troll. I don't know if there's some new
that's
tech
a shock.
build.
That's really
definitely shocker. I would assume you still just go the Fury into BKB, and that's kind of around the timing where you try to fight and like help your team. I think there's maybe some games and some builds where you play against some Medusa and you feel like maybe you can go some Diffusal and play faster, but I think it's just a classic Fury farm, get like a BKB or a Yasha BKB, and then kind of go with your team.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting build, of course.
For a very interesting. And the funny thing is, I love Troll as a hero, actually. It's just the old,
do you
they've
love
really
about
done
Troll?
him dirty.
What do you love about this hero?
He's fun. He hits fast.
Oh, is it because you press R and you leave?
Yeah, I can get up and go
Oh,
AFK.
hope it's good. Hope it's good.
So now that we've talked about Troll for about 5 minutes straight, what are the other heroes in the game that you find interesting?
I really like the Venomancer pick, actually.
Okay, why?
And I know many people think, yeah, Venomancer's so boring, but I'm a level 25, whatever that term is called, Master
you need to
Grandmaster.
leave right now.
No, you be quiet.
Okay.
You keep talking about Centaur. You haven't done it yet, but I'm sure it will happen eventually in this
That's
tournament.
a good hero.
But the Plague Wards in this game and the slow overall and the vision control into like, what did they have? They had Silencer, Monkey King, and Bad Rider. So having more vision, like slowing down the bat that's running in, and like... Also nowadays, Veno actually has good follow-up damage in the fight with the new ult. It's not like this Plague Cloud anymore. You just split on one guy with your ult. It's a lot of damage, it's a lot of slow. So you can actually go together with one of the spirits and get some kills.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, another great point. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a good point. And the Noxious Plague, as it's called, of course.
Thank you.
I mean, you can see from Secret's lineup, they're going to be kind of bunched up a bit, right? They have a lot of AoE control. They want to be in a confined space, and Noxious Plague can bounce at that point. So that's, I don't know if that's that important, but that is something I wanted to say because you said I need to say something smart, so I'm just
that was very
throwing
smart.
one out there.
Thank you. My IQ just went up by double digits, so that's great.
Wow, goodness.
Yeah. But for Secret are very good at playing these Monkey King drafts where they have a very clear initiation into the Wukongs. I mean, they have Chrysalis who has like, no joke, he has more than 2,000 Monkey King games. So he's got to be one of the best Monkey Kings, which is another reason why they can pick it early, then still kind of keep it on him, and well, he and, you know, all of them feel good about him continuing to play it. But they have a lot of single target stuff that they need to like team fight together, where you have Lasso, you have Global, like their damage isn't really fast. They have one real play. You try to go with Ravage into Wukongs or Lasso into Wukongs. And if that doesn't work, or Aster somehow can counterplay it, I think Secret's teamfights might fall very flat very quickly.
I mean, they talked about this on the panel as well, but Monkey against the likes of some tree breakers should be a problem.
Yeah, but it's Crystallis.
Crystallis. You know, that's
Crystallis.
Yeah, I was going to say, Crystallis just sounds better. I don't know.
I mean, it's like listening to Avery cast Tofu. He doesn't say Tofu, he says Tofu.
Tofu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just say
I
Tofu.
never actually noticed that. That's going to trigger me. Appreciate that.
I think we.
So yeah, how much of a problem is that for a core Monkey King? They can't be on the trees as much.
I mean, it's definitely.
Storm Spirit is like an old school counter.
Yeah,
this year,
it's whether you're carry or support, it hinders your gameplay a lot because you rely on the trees not just for vision, but to put you kind of into position in the game as we are in the game, Shannon. Well done, everyone.
Your thought, that's fine.
Well, what was your question?
Someone was listening.
It's important, yes. Thank you for the great
Even you
setup.
don't remember what you're talking.
Trees are important for Monkey King, guys.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
Tree Breakers, big counter.
Oh, 4 Midas is queued up, by the way. So your type
that's a
of
good
build.
start. Yep.
Secret's win percent definitely improving right now.
Do you expect a Midas to come out for him, though?
No. No.
The only time I've seen that on Monkey King is when they're horribly behind.
when they're
like they get
0-12.
stomped. Yeah, they get stomped in the lane or something.
Heroes that
so he's anticipating this.
I mean, yeah, he's getting ready for the 0-12, which is a great plan going into the game. Now, if we see a Midas on him, then I think they might just lose on the spot.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Well, we get to see the patented Sumail Storm Spirit, of course.
TI5 flashbacks.
Not even just TI5. When I think
DAC?
of Storm Spirit, it's DAC. The original DAC against, I think it was Vici Gaming in the finals. And he was feeding uncontrollably left, right, and center. Every time he'd come to lane, he'd get ganked. 15-year-old kid.
And then he
just out of
dumpsters everyone.
diapers. Just straight out of diapers into Dota 2.
Maybe he still had them.
Yeah,
That's
along
the
with
power.
the neck pillow. But yeah, he came back with a vengeance, and that's where his identity, I guess, as Storm Spirit
Where it all started.
was
with,
born.
With Papa Fear next to him.
That's right.
And now he's here.
I wonder if Fear remembers that in his old age.
He's old. Maybe he forgot.
So what do you think of this matchup? Very old school Storm versus Puck.
I think with the type of nerfs that Puck has received over time, overall this is a very like farm tradey matchup, but I would expect Sumail to slightly win this lane. Maybe like some 60-40, you know, 58-42% matchup.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do they have a way to kill Sumail before he hits level 6? Assuming that the Puck will not be level 6 first?
Maybe if Yamage finds a way to go mid with a Flame Break into Blood Grenade, there's definitely a way. I don't think we'll really see it. Mainly it's going to be through Coil or Global Silence. Like, this is by no means an easy Storm Spirit game. So Sumail, he's going to have to be cautious around all these spells and ults and just random stuff kind of clipping him on the outskirts of a fight.
See Sammy's Cat getting bullied a bit by Yamage. I mean, Batrider is this hero where we were seeing a ton of games as support, and then a patch came out during Dream League that absolutely hammered the Flame Break move speed.
I mean, it looks like teams are still kind of playing it. Like, when you pair it up with the Blood Grenade, it's still solid. Also with the fact, he is very tanky as a support. He has like 800 HP level 1. He has very good HP regen. For some reason, this hero has 330 base movement speed too. So even when the spells get a little weaker, you're quite strong in the lane. As we can see here, he's, you know, kind of chilling, trading, and overall having a bat in the game with a potential lasso and like dragging one. It's always a win condition that I think Batrider over the course of Dota will always have a place in the game. If he's just remotely playable.
Right. Yeah, it definitely offers some unique aspects to each lineup. Even though we saw Timber last series, we didn't really talk about the nerfs to him in this last patch. It's the, what was it? Is it E or F?
That was the E patch.
Yeah, the E patch.
The latest one.
Reactive armor, basically
it's like
nerfed at all levels by 0.1,
yeah.
and then I think the Timber chain also lowered the damage a bit.
You appear to be right. 10 damage all levels.
I remember that.
5 movements.
I mean, how much of it do you think that's for people that aren't used to seeing, like, I mean, this hero was first pick, first banned before this patch? Do you think this has a, like, how much of an impact do you think it has?
It just means that I think the hero has a little bit of a harder time to go out of control and do as well in lanes as it does, because Timber wins or draws like every single lane. And I think that a hero is just too strong when you kind of get to do that, so it just makes it more playable for the enemies, like, yeah, to just kind of not get stomped. This hero is still incredible. His damage is good, his laning is good, you have different item builds, you have different skill builds, and that mainly makes for a good Dota hero when you have the options. Right. Skaka taking some pressure. Blood Grenade.
Blood Grenade's going to hit as well. Chrysalis with that Jingu stack is up. Lotus will not be taken, actually.
I'm just getting
so Chrysalis will be able to snag that as well as the first blood. So good start from Secret. There's another Jingu stack coming from Chrysalis. So talked about the issues that this hero could have, but
I mean, he's going to be happy with this start. He has a CS lead as well on top of all that.
I mean, one of the nice things with Monkey against Timber, as opposed to some of the other counters, is that Monkey King has the sustain. Like, whenever you fight the Timber, you can just stand your ground and you don't really lose so much, whereas sometimes Slark and Ursus, they can lose the lane, because Timber can just fight back, you have to buy tangos, spend region, but yeah, Crystallis, on his best hero, onto an incredible start here in the early game.
And something we didn't mention with the Timbersaw nerfs is the way that this hero is actually played in some games. They wouldn't even go for reactive armor early. You get like maybe 1 level max and then you just go for a Vanguard. So definitely like a change of pace for the hero. So the fact that you max out the Q and the W a little bit more often in the early stage means that you're nerfing 2 aspects of this hero that are sorely needed that hurts that build overall. So I'm interested to see if they change the build as this patch, or as this tournament progresses. Yeah, the QW build is just still really strong on Timber. It allows you to fight back, and especially with Vanguard just still being so good, even after numerous nerfs. You can get this ring so early on, you can get the Vanguard fast, you can still lane. So instead, you kind of, it's like you're a budget reactive armor, but instead you level up your other spells, so you can deal so much damage and just pressure a lot more in these lanes where otherwise, I mean, if you play defensive, you don't do anything to Monkey anyway. So this way you, again, you give yourself some options, which is great. Yeah. Well, Sumail early on, 33-3 versus Armel's 27-0, so a bit of a lead here for Sumail, and without any intervention, he will likely hit that level 6 first. Yeah, it looks like he will be slightly ahead, working into the Falcon Blade, so helping himself to have a little bit of a damage advantage early on. This first active rune going to be very crucial. I would not be surprised to see like 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 heroes mid around the 6 minute mark. How about, yeah, all 10. Everyone go mid. Wonder if that's ever happened in Dota's. Kaka's gonna get pounced on here by Crystallis. Jingu stacks are gonna proc again with the Boundless Strike. Puppey gets credit for that one though. Puppey's gonna be a smart boy in this game. Yeah, of course he doesn't have them yet, as you need your W as Yamich. That's true. Whirling Axe is coming out from Monet, doing so much damage to Yamich. Finds his way to the other side of the trees, but he's ticking lower and does finally fall to that Poison Sting. And FBZ now, he's in quite a bit of trouble. Going to get netted up by Monet. Another Blood Grenade comes out. Wand keeping him relatively healthy, and it'll be enough for him to get away this time. Middle. That's okay. Tank onto Armel. He gets off the Waning Rift. TPs are coming. Able to find that kill. Still coil preserved, and illusions are taken by Puppies, so essentially a deny for both mid laners. It's the classic die around like minute 5:30 to 6 minutes into just TP mid and refill the bottle. So I don't think Yamich even feels bad about dying bottom. Amel's like, yep, seems good to me, bro, let's go. He's gonna go bottom, place a nice little ward in the Radiant jungle, pick up the bounty rune, and it looks like they might want to make a move mid. I feel like Sumail could be too tanky, like 1,060 HP with a Fairy Fire and 12 sticks. Ooh, FTZ though. Yeah, I don't think he's too tanky. Kraken Shell does activate, but the net comes out. And Monet will find a nice kill here. Armel comes in with the coil, but no real follow-up. And the Flame Break comes out, but it's not enough to bring Monet onto the other side of the coil. But he's still going to get pursued by Armel, and this should be 2 kills going the way of Team Secret. Eventually, this Venom will drop in. On the other side of the map, XXS gets taken out. So, big kill for Crystallis. Oh, bottle refill. Very nice. Huge move. 3 for nada. Secret off to such a good start. That was great. Armel just TP's bottom, right? Pretty easy rotation. Just drops the coil, gets a double kill. Yamich as well. Gets a lot of XP. Now the Wisdom Rune. They get to refill Armel's bottle, so he can just freely walk into mid. And yeah, I mean, Crystallis is just... Look at his net worth, 4K net worth at minute 7. They're having an incredible lead in the top lane. Yeah. See the replay in the bottom right, or the middle of the screen, that is, of course. Big one. Very big. Have a very nice coil into the double. They tried for the flame break pushback, but of course, doesn't matter. No cigar. That's Monet. That's not the saying. All good. Good attempt. Stop good effort, please. XXS gonna die. Taking the... Quite low to the Arcane Curse. Oh! Wukong's command comes out. Sumail's not afraid, though. He takes out Puppey in turn. Crystallis out of mana now as Sumail just waiting it out. Crystallis will have to TP back. The Electric Vortex comes in, canceling the TP, and Crystallis still with the Jingu. Sumail actually completely out of mana, so he has to be a bit careful. What a Chad. Mischief from Crystallis, not able to find a kill, but all 3... Okay. Oh, he has a passive Oblivion Staff, his backpack. Kaka just barely lives. What a Chad though, just mans up. But there's not many Monkey King players who would have their ult there, then stand their ground. So overall, I mean, again, there's a lot of tempo and pressure that's coming simply just through this top lane from Secret. You know what's funny is that Electric Vortex canceling TP actually helped Chrysalis.
It did. He just
Now he can farm.
Sumail literally used all his mana and his TP, and he just got full HP on Chrysalis as just going again. Block grenade.
Yeah, he's
very important.
Likely dead. And Chrysalis on a killing spree. He is owning.
This is why this man's Monkey King is feared.
I guess
throughout
so,
the world.
yeah.
You should fear it too.
Speaking of not fear,
he's not
the
here.
Troll Warlord
Oh,
down.
Ravage.
He's going to get ravaged up by FBZ, and Armel finishes the job as Secret dominating the early game.
Just making it look very easy for them. Armel just moves bottom. It's so nice for him because he doesn't really have to care about this top lane, right? Like Chrysalis and Puppey, they're just holding their own ground. They just keep murdering them there. Pikachu has screwed off to the jungle. He's like,
that
Monet.
makes sense.
Yeah, I need my
Excellent
level
luck.
6, man. You're on your own. He's got some good levels though.
Yeah, this is the benefit of having a Veno
Jungle
support. You can the Veno jungle role.
Very good,
That we
of
miss
course.
very much. I do miss the level 1
Blade
Legion
Ward.
Commander jungle.
Iron Talon with the level 1 wards.
Yeah.
Always very big fan of this play.
And Monet, his courier died that, like we saw, the cornucopia was on it, so he is going for that Battle Fury, but has no components in his inventory at the moment. We'll have to wait for that. 3K lead for Secret, though. And let's see, Sumail likely wanting to get a bit active as the 10-minute rune is about to spawn. Let's see which side it ends up coming to.
Secret have a lot of openings in this game. Like we can, even Chrysalis and Puppey are both joining down bottom. I mean, this bot tower is basically already dead. I think here too, FBZ has a Meteor Hammer. I really like this build. Helps you to like push forward in the lane, but then also you can later on connect your Ravagers with the Meteor yourself. Yeah. Now they're just gonna go back top, and Secret are having a very good hold on this game right now.
How many heroes can buy Meteor Hammer these days?
Maybe between, I would say between like 5 and 10 heroes maybe.
Oh, that's more than I thought, actually.
Like some OD, Tide, Quasvex Invoker maybe. Monkey King support.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's favorite.
I'm starting to reach deep, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Tide,
Tide's actually very
time
good.
and time again, that has been the item for him, and it's been unbelievably effective.
It's just very good because what people love to do against Tide is like, oh, he doesn't do anything. He's just going to push in the lane. I'm going to farm the jungle, then farm the lane. But like this, he just takes your tower. And now you lose all the space as Monet. We see him like kind of fall back pretty far in the jungle. In Secret, with some of their spells on, they're going to have Global Silence. They're getting closer to Yamage being level 6 as well. And I don't think anything's going to stop them. They can choose where they want to go, drop the coil, drop their spells, Global Silence, kind of get a kill and back off if they want to.
And Yamage continue to get some nice stacks here. And eventually we'll go to, I mean, they could give it to Tide, I guess. I mean, that is one of the best stack takers in the game, but there's a Monkey King that will eventually be able to take it himself. Went for the Echo Saber build, so not going for the any kind of Battle Fury type build. Like, do you like to see this more active approach?
I mean, I kind of like when people play Monkey King like this. I would say it fits the nature of the hero. The strength of this hero is that he's such a strong laner, and he takes this advantage to push the game forward. I think Battle Fury, sometimes you can do both even when buying Fury, but I think Echo Saber into BKB or Deso into BKB, it really helps the nature of how you want to play this hero, which is in your enemy's face, and just progress the map with your team.
Yamage just hits level 6 now, so Lasso finally at his disposal. As I feel like a lot of these runes have been denied.
Yeah, Kaka got the haste, I think, minute 10. Now he has the regen, he has the tree dance himself to kind of just move around, kill some creeps. Very chill game at the moment. And I think there's a couple cores that are very happy with the state of the game, especially XXS, Monet, both kind of trying to recover. Monet trying to get his Battle Fury and then speed up the game. So I think it's kind of on Secret to try and look for a move on the map. As I said before, they have global. If they go on you, you can global get out if you aggressively go in. It's kind of like it's like an early game BKB. You pop global, they're all silenced. Makes it pretty simple.
Yeah, I can understand your point. And we have some Secret fans in the audience, of course.
Just like me.
Yeah, you're an ex-Secret player, of course, not biased.
Not biased
you
at
did
all.
get kicked, so what side are you biased? I don't know.
Yeah, I hate Poppy, actually.
XXS, Timber Chain slightly canceled there halfway through with the Boundless Strike. Chrysalis continuing to pound away. And XXS will eventually live with another Timber Chain. He's going to be going for the pipe. And, I mean, I'm not sure what the timing for Secret that they're looking for. The mech, obviously, for FBZ is going to be pretty important. I'm not sure if Chrysalis is going to take apart the Echo Saber for an early BKB or just farm it.
Probably, yes. As they're going bottom on FBZ. He is very tanky, but no one's close by.
Battle Trance is activated. Has full control of his body, and there's the Ravage into the Meteor Hammer onto the Troll Warlord.
Okay.
As Yamich, he's going to be tanking the damage now, as FBZ able to get away. The lasso was applied to Sumail.
They're coming, though.
It's completely out of mana, though. They do end up taking out Yamich, but now they're going to turn their sights onto Sumail because he's out of mana. Ends up being a 1-for-1 in favor of Secret for sure. Support for mid.
Okay. Stolen orb.
Not bad.
Okay, actually it took way longer to do anything in its little play. I do think for Secret now also, they should be eyeing this mid-tier 1 tower. I think FBZ doesn't want to linger down bottom for too long. And I think you want to slowly Meteor Hammer the mid tower, try to close down the map a bit, because I think Monet is kind of, I think he's kind of chilling in this fight. As here, we see the Meteor Hammer with the Ravage, just kind of stalling out the fight. I mean, Tide is just so tanky against these high attack speed heroes. Like, look, Puppy, Chris is slowly coming through the gate to try and reinforce, and Sumail just has to kind of blow everything to get this kill. So, well, yeah, Secret are pretty happy with this little play that just happened.
Yep, absolutely. And Battle Fury, I believe, for Monet is being delivered. 14.5 minutes. Same as last series on the... Who was it? Was it the Ursa? No. Was it Ursa?
Shiro, Ursa, game 1.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same timing. Like some 14:30, I think that they're both looking at, even with, you know, maybe 1 or 2 deaths in the early game. Of course, they know exactly how they want to farm, as Crystal is kind of still chilling around top. I think this is what teams are getting a lot better at. Once you win your lane, you try to keep holding areas. So even though he's alone here, he gets to farm the lane, farm the jungle, then kind of, you know, bounce back and forth with the twin gates. But yeah, I think Secret really have it in them when their spells come back off cooldown to try and speed up the game. I'm still with the believe that Aster are pretty happy with what's going on right now.
I mean, at the same time, Yamich, as a support, is getting a lot of farm on the bottom side of this map. And, well, then again, so is the position 5 Vena for Mr. Siamese Cat. Like you said, everybody just farming to their heart's content.
I mean, this Solar Crest is a very nice item to buy on Veno. It's going to help you troll a lot, but Secret are getting some very, very big items. You mentioned the Blink on Yamich, he's close to it. Armel just got his. They have a Pavis on Puppy. I haven't seen this item. No, it's Pavis. Whatever, dude. And a BKB on Crystallis.
Crystallis, yeah.
I will continue to annoy you.
Yeah, so that, he did take apart the Echo Sabers, so we'll be going for the Ogre Club on top again.
There's got the mid-tower smash.
Yep, you're right. I didn't really think about that aspect, but with Tide, so many times in past patches, he'd come to this lane and just sit mid as this basically a wall, right? As Armel and company will be teaming up to try to take out Kaka. Glimmer Cape, keeping him alive a little bit longer, but Chrysalis is there to get the finishing blow.
Yeah, it's like, it gives Tide, again, it's like, it makes it harder for the enemies to kind of do anything as Yamich tries for a push.
Oh, the Horsey giving him a nice initiation. Global Silence comes out into the coil as well. It's actually going to be broken by Troll, so taking extra damage, but he's going to be able to walk away. And now Puppy's going to pay the ultimate price. FBZ, though, in the air, he gets off the Ravage, and it deletes Sumail. Now XXS should be able to Timber Chain to safety, so 1 for 1, effectively. But again, Sumail dying. A little bit too aggressive from him.
It's a little hard for him to like play into these heroes right now. Like he would wish that XXS had a better game to maybe frontline more or deal more damage, because Monet is not really ready. I think XXS feels a little weird in this game maybe. As FBZ, that was a lot of damage.
Yeah, that was a lot of trees for sure, but Crystallis was on one of those trees here. Boundless Strike onto XXS, another beautiful whirling death. Is that what it's called? But he dies shortly after.
Well done.
Like, there's whirling axes, whirling death. There's a lot of whirling going on in this game.
lot of whirling. At least like 3 whirling spells in Dota.
Yeah, there's a third somewhere. Think about that one for a minute.
Maybe axe spin. I don't know what it's called.
No, that's that's counter helix. Good try.
I was trying to help you actually, but anyway. We have so the thing with Meteor Hammer Tide is instead of just getting to ignore him, well, if you ignore him, you're just gonna lose all your buildings. And sometimes when he finds one alone, you can Ravage into Meteor. We've seen it a few times now, so you know, just a good item. I think it's taken a bit for people to kind of see it as Armel.
Another coil, Waning Rift now onto Sumail. He'll break the coil and will zip away.
Zip.
Nice play from him, but Yamich is on the other side with the Flame Break. Is it going to be enough to tick him away? Sumail trying to zip away to get the damage off, but he dies right on the footsteps of his fountain. Yamich will likely pay the ultimate price, but well worth it. And on top of that, Siamese Cat dies on the other side of the map.
This is a busy jungling, you know, if you ever give up a kill there, it's okay. Getting some golden XP. As now Crystal is working into the Death Zone. I really, really like this build. I don't think there's enough people who actually buy Death Zone Monkey. It helps you with a lot of the things the hero isn't necessarily super good at. It helps you take towers, kind of helps you with Roche as well. Here we just see a good old little kill. It's just hard for Sumail to play this map right now. He drops very low, and now he probably had to just zip straight up to base. Like right here.
He's gonna...
And we see that -2.
Yeah.
-2 again. Just gets dumber and dumber by the minute of the game.
Another death for Sumail. How many is that now? He's sitting on 3 deaths.
And Puppy sitting on 10 permanent intelligence.
Wow, what a god.
He's gonna have a giga brain at the end of this game.
Well,
unlike the two of us.
That's true. He has a Pavis, and we'll be going for Glimmer Cape now.
Can you say it properly?
Pavis.
Okay, thank you.
Dictionary.com if you want to check it out.
I'm not Cinderin. So
shout out to dictionary.com.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice initiation onto Mr. Siamese Cat. That's going to be an easy pickoff. And remember, this is a position for Batrider getting pretty damn good farm, so that early Blink Dagger really showing its worth. Kaka, did get coiled. Wow. This seems to be a harder kill
He
than
dodged the
Witchblade
Witchblade hit, by the way. I hope you noticed that.
What's that?
That's why I said wow. He had the phase shift on Rubik stolen and dodged an attack.
I saw that, yeah.
You did?
The one attack he dodged was incredible.
Yeah.
As Kaka working on a blink. That'll be a while.
That will, I mean, I'm just looking at Aster and like kind of thinking, okay, what would I want to do if I'm them? And I think you need at least Monet to try and finish up this BKB. You do have a pipe as Crystallis. Hello, my friend.
Yeah, initiation, but the BKB comes out and the TPs are coming. He doesn't
Rainbow
go off with
TPs.
Wukong's command, but I mean, this was basically the entirety of Aster as Noxious playing onto Yamish, attempting to TP out. That's a bit ambitious. Does drop in the end. And now the rest of the Secret on the run, Puppy. Okay, goes a bit for
Ravage.
The Ravage comes out with the Boundless Strike and Meteor Hammer onto Sumail, but he zips away again as XXS is perfectly happy to fight with the Wukong command, but he does die. They finally get Crystallis, the most farmed hero on the map, and now Monet continuing to just right-click away onto the Watermelon Man. FBZ drops to the deck, so 4-1 in favor of Aster.
That's a big deal for Aster to be able to kind of... They created a chaotic fight by just simply jumping Crystallis, disengaging. They force out the BKB and the Global. They just kind of back off, and then they get to go again. I mean, the cast range on this Venom ult is honestly kind of disgusting, like with how it works on. Sumail just gets to zip in again. This is not how you want to fight when you're up 5k gold. Like, this is more random than it kind of has to be. And the pipe from XXS, very clutch in this fight. And the best ult in the game, Battle Trance.
He did heal a good amount.
He did. And now he's got the BKB. Aster looking a lot better now in this game. We've seen it in the other games too. Sometimes it just takes one little mess up, one little fight, and you're straight back in it.
Now the Tormentor for Aster. And the Shard will go to Kaka, so the extra save on Telekinesis.
A good Shard. Unlucky for him that he's kind of playing into Global. So of course that is not going to be as easy for him to try and save people. But we have Siamese Cat who's working on a Lotus Orb. I would say it's a great Lotus Orb game. You can dispel the Global. Like, let's say you can dispel Kaka and he gets to save someone. Or you dispel yourself. You can maybe try to counterplay. Also good against the Batrider, of course. Maybe you get it before the lasso. Or you can dispel all the stickies to negate the damage. So, yeah, kind of like the item build from our Jungle Venomancer here.
Jungle Man.
Junglemancer. Getting close to this Desolator on Crystallis, which... to finish my point earlier, it again helps a lot with how you want to play the game. You want to push forward, you want to take these towers, take Roshan, and it just helps you and your team to kind of do exactly that. As we get a Tormentor from Team Secret, I'm going to give themselves a little surprise.
A little Shard surprise, everyone's favorite. And that'll go to Yamich, which... That one on a support, not so great.
That's definitely a bottom 5 Shard for support.
Yeah, I think so.
He can hit them now. Wow.
Yeah.
This is where you start buying Witchblade. Just turn into a core.
I missed the Manta style when that worked.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really smart.
That was, I mean, it works on Zeus. What's the difference?
I mean, Zeus can't stun you.
True.
He also needs to buy... I mean, I guess they need to buy the same item.
I mean,
so
it is the
mind.
same concept, right? So it's just I mean, Dota's inconsistent, and that's what's great about it. That's what keeps us on our toes, because you never really know the
Everything can work.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Until it doesn't.
Until it.
Yeah,
until
he finds Siamese Cat. The Noxious Plays comes out, so he does get slowed. The Gale to follow.
Look at all the
But
damage.
it's a free pickoff.
I love Venomancer. They all hate him right now, but I love it. Just plague on everyone.
Yeah, the new ult is pretty cool, I will say.
It's very, especially with the Aghanims too. Like once you get that and you die, you just get the plague around you. If they dispel it as well, like if they end up dispelling your Gale, you get it around them as well. As yeah, he did more damage than, I mean, I guess he did more damage than them as his HP pool isn't very high. But 2k damage as a 5 while you're dying,
Yeah.
that ain't a joke.
That is true. What do you think of his, what's his shard called? Don't tell me, I know.
Tox.
Damn it, latent
I was close.
toxicity.
I would have had the toxicity.
You
not
said
the,
toxicity and it triggered it.
Which is also pretty good, but of course it's you're mainly going to have to get it from a Tormentor, I think. Or like later some 30-40 minute mark. He does have a Philosopher's Stone, so good on him. But with the items that are coming out in the game right now, we're getting closer to the stage where both teams can start thinking about Roshan. We're getting a double BKB timing on Aster. They already have one on Troll. There's about to be a second one on Sumail. And Secret have their own Desolator. So maybe when Roshan moves to the top area at 25, I think Secret should be looking to set that up. They have Gush, minus armor from the Deso, and just kind of whack it down. This XXS could be in some trouble if they start sniffing him out.
Yeah, they're trying to sniff him out.
Not working. Smelling too good. Yeah, he's definitely very well bathed and very hygienic today, so able to walk away scot-free.
This, honestly, this Bad Rider is getting very dangerous to play against if you're Aster. He has Blink, he has Force Staff, he has the Eye of Vizier for even more cast range. And he has a global to back him up. Like when he goes in and lassos, they can just global to kind of ensure it into the monkey ring or maybe just simply a monkey stun. And Aster don't have too many counterplays for that. And there's a pipe. That's kind of about it for now. I think that's a defensive Solar Crest, but...
I think the one... Yeah, they have really good pickoff potential on Secret, but the one thing that I'm looking at is the long-ass cooldowns.
Yep.
When they use this Ravage, when you use this Coil, when you use this Global Silence, there's buybacks or something, as we're going to see.
Lasso.
The initiation will come. Command comes
Monkey
out
ring
into
Ravage.
the ring with the Ravage.
Stolen Ravage.
Focusing everything on this Timber Saw. He's still leashed up and will be brought down. That's the buyback onto the Venomancer. As you can see, Sumail doing some damage on the sideline. Will be able to take out Yamish in turn.
Ravage.
The Ravage, okay, stolen by Kaka. Gonna set up Monet to be able to right-click this Monkey King down. And he's all alone, Mr. Chrysalis, and he drops to the deck. Double kill for Sumail. There's the battle trance, very useful.
Doing so much work.
FBZ is completely surrounded, so despite the good start to that fight for Secret, they end up crumbling. It took so long to kill that Timber Saw.
I guess that's the only thing they got with all. It looked very good. They had like a very good lasso, the global, the Ravage, and the Monkey Ring as well. But when you drop all these spells and you only kill the Timber, I guess they killed Veno as well, but he kind of gets to buyback. He has so much gold saved up and he just comes back in. The fact that Aster can like play this fight very slowly, you know, Sumail BKBs, he keeps chasing Yamage. And Monet, he's not popping anything. He still has BKB, he still has ult. Kaka's waiting in the back as well with a stolen Ravage, which is, it's crucial. Armel tries to like get him off, but here they just pop everything. The Secret, they're just out of steam. They have nothing left.
Yeah, great steal on the Ravage. Terrific usage of Battle Trance here. Very skillful skill.
Very good R usage from him there.
Good
That's why he's the best troll in the world.
True. He knows how to hit it.
And they, I mean, they got Roche from all of this. That's the most important thing. Them getting this Aegis and pushing Monet to be now top net worth in the game. The Solar Crest behind him, he's getting closer to level 20, getting this Basher as well. Scary times for Secret moving forward.
Yeah, Monet. So actually, talk to me about this. Is the reason they don't give the... Typically the second Roche is when you would give this to the Troll, the Aegis. This is the first.
I would say that
Stormster is such an incredible Aegis carry,
true.
but his net worth is not the highest, maybe.
I think right now, with the state of the game and how many towers are left, you rather give it to your troll to actually just sweep the whole map. And I think Sumail isn't in too much danger of dying. Or, of course, they can kill him if Secret decide to when he's out of position, but I think similar to last fight, they would have to lasso him, probably Ravage, and even if he doesn't die then, he can BKB and zip out. So I think Sumail is gonna be... he should be okay. So it's rather like, take the whole map with this Aegis, kill all the towers.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Aster, like you said, with the Aegis now, 2k lead. Well, yeah, there it is, 2k back to 1k. Okay.
2k, 1k, 2k, 1k.
Chrysalis working on, looks like the Aghanim Scepter, as Satanic is going to be coming for the troll.
When Monet finishes this Satanic, I don't think he's in the territory anymore where you can burst him. And I think that's when Troll gets past that threshold in the fight where he can just like, he's not forced to pop his ult or BKB early on and you can't burst him anymore. That's when a hero becomes like the scariest moment of the entire game is exactly then. So I think Secret might have to look to split the map a little bit and try to start playing on pickoffs with this Bad Rider Blink, pull them into you and really play on that. I think that's going to be their win condition from now until the end of the game.
And Chris is already halfway to his Ags. I mean, his farm has dropped off a bit thanks to the last few minutes of Aster kind of dominating.
Yeah.
And a couple more tier 2s remain for Secret. As Aster take out one. They could poke high ground for sure.
Looks like they're already smoking. As they want to look at someone who's maybe around mid, because they're already smoking up and looking for something. But when you're dodging the enemy team, very rarely are you going to be around mid, because they need to chase you, and if you're around mid, it's the easiest lane to connect to. So Secret are doing the right thing, kind of spreading out to the side lanes. There's a chance that they might run into Puppey, but for now I think Secret are playing very nicely around this current Aegis timing, because they understand that we cannot fight into Aster when they're together. Oh, Aster have a decent ward here though.
Yeah, Sumail looking to pursue. Not going to find anybody initially as Yamich TP's out in the cover of darkness. And Yamich, okay, they do spot Monet as the Gush comes out as well. Eondis actually procs on the Siamese Cat. That's their initial target.
Ooh.
Chrysalis with a Boundless Strike and the Wukongs. That's enough to take out the Veno. The BKB down now for Chrysalis. As we can see, Monet not really afraid of throwing his life away, considering he has that Aegis for another minute and a half.
This is exactly what Secret want to do. Try to like move them around the map, like puppets, try to make them follow you. The moment they split up, you kill this Veno. He's actually dead for a minute because he diebacked earlier. So now you use the space, push out top, Chrysalis try to get closer to his next item. Everyone push out the lanes, and then when we have Lasso, let's do it again. So it's kind of on Aster to make sure you move in groups where you don't allow Secret to make these small little plays on you.
So this is an item I haven't seen in the last few weeks, is the Aghanim Scepter for Timber. It felt like it dropped off a bit after the initial popularity. What do you think about this item as a whole? The fact that it's dispellable is so weird to me.
I used to think that it's really bad because it is dispellable, but the fact that it gives you full stacks of reactive armor, I think even when they dispel it with a nullifier, which first of all they can't right now because Chrysalis isn't anywhere JK. He's swapped up his item build. So it will still, like the more I've seen it, I feel like even when you dispel it, the fact that you get 40 reactive armor is pretty insane.
Okay.
So the item is that good that when you counter one big part of it, it's still incredibly strong.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Monet not too far away from finishing Satanic, and it looks like they're just going to wait out this Aegis now, now that they have all the outer towers, of course. And I mean, that's one aspect as, looks like Aster want to smoke up, and despite not having the Aegis here in a few seconds,
yeah, it's about to
want to try to be on the aggressive.
Okay, let's see if they can find someone.
Sumail pops it. Wants finally opening onto Sumail, who pops his BKB. And they should be able to turn their sights on pretty easily onto the Bat Riders. A Noxious Plague actually bounces on a bunch of creeps. Very important to say that in the middle of a team fight. Global Silence was already expended by Puppey. Has his buyback, but like I said, already with that ult.
No damage.
On the cooldown. XXS, reactive armor. Does proc up a big Boundless Strike onto Sumail. He's dead! Just like that, they find the stuns. All the control in favor of Secret, and a huge kill for them. But it looks like Aster still want to try to fight potentially. His FBZ is going to get lifted in the air and actually push back away.
Ooh, honestly, very clutch by Chrysalis. He was so quick on his Boundless Strike. I feel like he kind of saw it coming. He knew that, okay, by the time our BKBs kind of go down, I'm going to be ready. He instantly catches Sumail, because this kind of looked like it could have been a disaster. Like, Secret already bought back on Yamich. They tried to get a turnaround, and they did. I'm a man with the nullifier now ready. So we'll see the little, you know, Puppey maybe a little bit early on the global, try to save his ally. But we're going to see the... I mean, Chrysalis is very patient here. He even cancels his ult, jumps back. And I think this is what makes, like, really great players, the ones that are patient. And here Zip is coming, instantly, bam. Got him.
One Boundless Strike. What was the second stun? Did he even need a second stun?
He got silenced, I think, as well by Armel, but that was kind of it.
Man, he melts. But yeah, obviously with that BKB down, that's kind of expected.
Okay, game is fairly even. It's a lot about who gets to initiate and how. I think if Secret still get to do it cleanly, and it's not around areas where Aster can buy back and just quickly come back into the fight, then Secret will look very good. But they have to be aware and very careful around these buybacks, because as we've touched on, they need this lasso into like another big spell to actually kill any hero on the Radiant lineup.
Very late mech coming out on the Rubik.
He's getting himself the Greaves against the Global, so I kind of like it. So then you have the pipe with the Greaves to help your team, and then most importantly, you just take off some of these silencers to maybe then you can help your team with the... I think he's got the shard on Kaka, right, from earlier as well, so kind of dispel yourself, maybe save your team. Yeah, it kind of checks out to me. I also like that they have a gem.
Oh, boy.
During this mid-game, it's very important.
They run right into a double damage.
Oh, bottle
in
on
the top river, Mr.
Maybe?
Crystallis.
Nope.
Okay, Armel takes.
He's the real carry.
Okay, all right. Interesting choice.
Okay.
And Siamese Cat. Oh, Balance Strike used to take out a wave, and now he's going to have to tree dance away. As Armel does pop the double damage a little bit prematurely.
Okay, we've got another smoke from Secret. They kind of want to look. I mean, if they ever see a good jump with just a lasso, and then you bring him into your team, honestly, I think the target might just be dead. Need to be careful about Venom, of course. He's got the A on this, so you'll need Crystallis close by with the nullifier to keep breaking that.
It's a pretty long Roche timer. Another 2 minutes to go, but of course the team don't know that. Yunda's actually already procced.
That's a big deal. Just a Gush and what else? Some Arcane Curse, maybe an Orb. That was it. Oh, great pop from that.
And now the smoke from Aster.
Nighttime. Vision is going to be very important here. If either team can get out a good Observer Ward or a very good like Plague Ward, try and find them.
And fighting into this Gush is very annoying as Pichu is found out. He's going to get lassoed. The Tentacle surprised onto Monet with a big balance strike to follow, and the Wukong's command to follow as well. But the buyback now comes out onto Pichu as Puppey going to the high ground. He's being pursued horribly here. They will be able to find him eventually. Does cost him the Timbersaw on the other side as the fight kind of segregated. Now Monet going to find the Watermelon Man, but he's going to get surrounded. We'll pop the Satanic. Disarm comes out. FBZ with that halberd. But eventually the Watermelon Man does drop. Double kill for Monet. And the interesting thing is they still have time for this next Roche fight. And they still had Ravage that whole time, actually. But the rest of their abilities on cooldown.
I think the problem is that they run out of steam without the Monkey Ring. Like the Monkey Ring, it's a bit awkward because they probably feel like when we lasso, we need to Monkey Ring to kill. But FBZ probably feels similar when they Ravage. So they do get Pichu here, which is great for them as he doesn't have the A on this. But the moment they use all of this and Monet gets to run out of this ring, even without BKB later, they can't fight into him. He's so tanky that he can just stand his ground and be like, yo, what up? Like, it doesn't matter how tanky FBZ is on his tide. As long as Monet doesn't feel like he's pressured, eventually he will start shredding through you, no matter how tanky you are.
Continuing to get that vision on that Roche pit. And 20 seconds away now. Most of the abilities will be back, so we'll just have a repeat of that fight potentially.
I mean, the good thing for Secret is that they still have Ravage, as you pointed out. So now for this Roche, because it is probably one of the longest respawns I could have hoped for, they'll still have one fight in them, but I think Secret need buybacks. Like in all these last fights, Aster always had their Venomancer buyback into the fight, and it is an incredibly big deal.
And they do have 3 buybacks on Secret, only 1 on the side of Aster, so could be a big turning point for someone here. Very important is Yamich. He's going to be found out. Lotus Orb applied right now, but the Wukong's command coming out, trying to focus all their efforts on taking out Monet, but he pops the BKB along with a battle trance to come. And now Crystallis Whirling Death applied as well. But big Ravage finally coming out from FBZ along with his Tentacle Surprise, but the Monkey King has already dropped. The Watermelon Man is next. Triple kill for Sumail. And now a free Roche to boot. Got the Aegis and Cheese for Aster.
I don't know if I missed something in this fight, so I mean, Aster is just a very clean fight from them, but it looked like Secret had the idea to try and burst Monet, but I don't think the Ravage actually came out in time before the BKB came out. I don't know if he maybe got pulled by Sumail or something, but this is dangerous times now for Secret for sure. Cheese available on Sumail. You have the Aegis on Monet. I mean, Armel is still playing a very clean game. He's like 4-0-11, but it's I mean, we'll see it here again. So you have the lasso, Boundless Strike as well. But no, they need, if they want to try this play, it has to be with Ravage into Meteor Hammer after while the Wukong's is running. Once they pop their first 1-2 spells and Monet gets to live, pop his BKB, this fight is done.
Yeah, very messy. And Sumail, after such a horrific start to this game, able to take full advantage of that fight as Battle Trance will now have a strong dispel for the level 25 talent on Monet. That's when the R button becomes very easy to use.
Now you can't do anything to him anymore. They're going to look for Kaka.
Yep.
Greaves in one.
Buildings will fall. They're going to leave Kaka to die.
See you later.
But still Aegis and Cheese intact, so Aster not really losing too much. And they're actually going to go on top of Secret potentially. Not going to use the buyback onto the Rubik right now. Balance Strike onto Sumail. Again, he pops the BKB. Nullifier Blight as well, but he zips away and is be able to preserve that Cheese. Might be using it to get back in as well if he wants. Monet and company now trying to focus down on FBZ, who pops his mech. And without these big ults still available, I mean, the Ravage still down. Obviously, Wukong's command as well.
I do think if you're Secret now, you need to look at these supports. I would say that they probably identified that just now. Monet with, I mean, obviously he has Aegis, but just with this talent alone, you will never burst him anymore in this game. I just don't see a way. So Secret, they're going to have to rely on Armel to maybe get this 25, get this Arcane Blink, and really pop off in like some of these longer drawn-out fights, get off like 5-6 silences, multiple orbs, and like really try to make it easier for your team to play a longer fight, because it's just a lot simpler for Aster right now to actually play out this game.
We don't really get to see that 25 talent too often because Troll's just not picked.
That is.
But it is.
It's an. Honestly, it turns around the whole hero. The fact that they can.
That's what they were playing. That's what they picked them for.
Exactly. The 25 talent.
It's always a smart thing.
And 40 minutes later, we got there.
Yeah.
It's easy. Whirling Axis Pierce Magic immunity.
I mean, that basically you take that if you go for Ags. And
sure.
Ags
and if they can never kill you anyway, I guess.
Yeah, the Ags is completely dependent on how many things you can dispel, or dispel onto the enemies as well.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, Aster just knocking at your door.
Yep, doing his thing here. Halberd doesn't even last very long because of the S and Y. They're going to try to slow this down as much as possible. Secret does have all their spells at their disposal, though. Monet, though, going to shrug it off. Still 2 minutes on this Aegis, so don't want to use too much to try to defend this.
You're going to have to stop Monet one way or the other, or you have to go on the team.
Yep, Sumail comes in with that Aghanim Scepter, the Electric Vortex onto 2. FBZ looking to Ravage. He does so inside that Wukong's command, and Sumail just melts. He got 2-shot, it looked like. And Monet continuing the pressure. Battle Trance coming out as well. He just takes out that Monkey King very easily. Double kill for Monet. The double buyback still from Secret to try to counteract this. Gush continuing from FBZ as Puppy's taken out in his base. Triple kill for Monet. And Chrysalis just freshly bought back. You can see the Troll continuing to pursue. He wants this Monkey King. This dieback is coming. But Harper's going to slow this down a little bit. Monet looking for the ultra kills. The Tentacle Surprise is there as well. But that does end up being a dieback onto Mr. Chrysalis. And Monet gets denied his ultra kill, but will likely not be denied this victory.
So there's Aegis. Here comes buyback from Kaka.
Yeah, I'm sure he just wants to die right here as XXS pops that reactive armor, which means Secret are just going to back away.
Oh, the range bash.
Okay, 10% range bash, easy.
1 more minute on the Aegis. What are you going to do, Secret?
Yeah, Monet. We'd like to continue to push here, of course. Troll, one of the most fearsome heroes when hitting buildings.
That was a costly defense, if we can even call it that.
Look at
Secret.
3 Tentacle Surprises.
Damn. That's definitely your highlight of this fight.
That's right.
You still lost the Rax, you lost a lot of buybacks. At least you have one more fight in you. I guess by that time the Aegis is gone. I think Secret are going to have to strike back hard if they really want to do something. At least this kill was very good on Sumail, but you're still running into the same problem where Monet is just insane. So you have the 25, you have the coil-piercing BKB that did actually end up getting Sumail killed. But even in the ring, Monet just presses his Battle Trance and he's just killing 2 heroes.
And the fact that they had to buy back on multiple heroes here and still lose the fight pretty much, I mean, quite handily in Aster's favor. So this puts them in I was going to say the driver's seat. They've been in the driver's seat for quite a while now after that Roche.
Yeah.
The double fight into Roche.
They still have the cheese as well on Sumail, so that's going to help him out next fight. He's getting closer to the 25. It's also a big deal. He's currently queuing up a Yules, which is kind of interesting. I guess he wants to maybe give himself... he's going to want to work on a Wind Waker, I think, and get himself out of the coil, since it does pierce his BKB now, so does make a lot of sense. As Armel still with the cleanest game of his entire team, maybe of any player in this game. 5-0-14. Definitely trying his hardest. Does have the Arcane Blink now working into a Dagon on Secret. They want to go on the aggressive here.
Arcane Blink with Octarine. Very cool build.
Easy cooldown.
It's like a 5-second cooldown on Blink, pretty much.
Yep. 525. Honestly, I think Arcane Blink is very good. Some people
I feel like
it's a meme.
Very underrated.
Yeah. We actually talked about this last time.
We did.
I got
we can rehash it. What hero did I mention, if you were listening?
We were talking about Axe.
That's right, my boy!
There you go, baby.
My other co-caster would never remember that.
Of course not.
Very important information.
Yep. I hope he's listening.
He's not.
Love you, Tors.
Almost the 25 talent now for Sumail. Actually, literally like one creep away. See if they end up going for a Tormentor as well. This is when it starts getting really juicy for the cores, because they can actually drop for them.
I guess both the supports already have them. XXS doesn't have his, so yeah, it's just the 3 cores that are missing out on theirs currently, which you can get the Rampage on Troll Warlord.
Yep, everyone's favorite shard.
Yep. Very cool. Bonus attack speed. You can pair his shard with the Overload attack bounce talent on Sumail. With him getting his shard, then you have Overload Rampage, double Overload, double Rampage, and then the Troll gets a Rampage.
This is how I... very good.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate that very realistic theory craft.
Whatever.
This is how I know that Valve gave up on Troll. Can we highlight Rampage again? 80-second cooldown. Just think about that for a second. That is longer than a lot of ultimates.
It's a global silence.
It's the same as global silence. You have to pay money to get this skill.
Not necessarily.
80 seconds.
He ain't gonna pay gold for it though.
That's true.
Yeah, got him.
For free, it's still terrible.
I'll take it for free. This guy, you're just hating.
Is it still, not to go back to rampaging, it's just so seldom we see this. Is it still based on the stance? I think so. Oh my god, it still has not been changed. It should just give both. With that and then making it like a 40-second cooldown, it would be fine.
How about when you press it, everyone just becomes invincible?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, you're welcome, once again.
Just the Omni Knight ult. Global.
I mean, his Axe does that.
Yeah, that's true.
But it should have no counterplay.
Yeah, not dispellable. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah,
it looks like Aster are just waiting for the next Roche. This will be the refresher shard for them.
The third very important Roche of the game.
Yep, this one is likely the nail in the coffin.
Rampage is
there.
Amazing.
Okay. Wait, did they kill the Tormentor? Or did he actually buy that? Did somebody... Is that the first purchase of Rampage in the history of Dota?
It's like, not in the history, okay.
I mean, that's true. I did cast one game where they had it, but still, that's...
He did not get it from the Tormentor, that is correct.
Wow.
Imagine spending gold on that.
Imagine.
You would...
He's going to use that, and we're going to not even see it because we won't notice its effects, and it'll be on cooldown for 80 seconds. That's the only way that we'll know he used it.
I'm going to pay attention to it.
Okay.
You continue the cast.
All right, do you think he'll use the ranged or the melee version? It's dynamic, though, so if you're changing back and forth, I think it changes the buff.
I don't think so.
I'm 95% sure.
Really? It's retroactive? It's like just depending on what you do.
It's dynamic, yeah.
Damn, that's actually not that bad.
It's terrible. What are you talking about?
I think it's when you use it. But I do think he will use the... There's a
BKB initiation from Yamich onto the troll, but this is the Aegis. They will get it. Tentacle Surprise, I believe, was used to ensure that.
Of course.
Still inside that Wukong's command. Already at half HP, has to be forced half to safety. Has
There's
to use
a Rampage.
his Battle Trance.
He used it.
That's true. It's literally the same sound effect as
You were correct. They did get lazy with it.
Yeah, they did.
But he got
that's
out.
a good defense from Secret, though.
It's definitely a good hold. Just making sure that they don't just take, your Megas for free? I get it's just really hard to then follow it on, but without the Aegis, if you do this again, I mean, is it going to be a free kill? Not really, because he can press R. I just forgot about that.
Yeah, he did not press R.
Still a good defense.
But that's the thing. If he presses R, you can run him to the fountain. Potentially.
That is true.
Right? I mean, that part of the ability does not go away. That would be a great 25 talent. Get rid of half of the spell, and it becomes better. Uncontrollable, it's controllable.
You can now press R and then run away.
That could be the shard, actually.
That could
you
be
can
the
control
shard.
your ult.
Wow. That would be broken.
That's fine.
I mean, the counterplay that Secret do have, if Monet's team is not close by, is that they can press Global or Waning Rift and get him silent so he can actually dispel himself. But of course, if his team is there, he's going to just spam R until he gets Lotus. As Yamich in a bit of trouble.
Yep, Sumail and Monet teaming up here.
Lotus, see ya.
70 seconds to no Bat Rider. Yamich does have buyback, of course. And, I mean, Secret still have all their spells, so it will be annoying for Aster to try to finish this game.
I mean, yeah, high grounding is still very, very hard. There's a lot of long-range nukes, like even some Arcane Curse, the Aghanim's Gush from Tide, all the Waning Rifts and Orbs coming out from Armel. Yeah, I think Aster, I like what they're doing where they're trying to maybe slowly, I mean, it looked like they kind of wanted to surprise, but it looks like they maybe
wanted to get the break onto the Tide.
Or the tower.
Silver Edge.
Of course, very good.
Yeah, breaking the tower is important as Armel comes in. Gets the coil onto 2, but not a whole lot of follow-up. So now without coil, that's a big spell.
It's a forced out buyback here. Aster just get to kind of move away freely. I don't think Yamich had too long on his timer. I think Sumail also won't be too unhappy if the game drags on like another 1-2 minutes. He gets to get into this Wind Waker. If he gets coiled, just kind of skirt out of there.
Is
only
that
900 gold away.
Is that a Dagon 4?
I guess
What
so.
number is that?
Yeah, that's a 4 Dagon.
Yeah.
Because 4 plus the 1, it would be the 5.
That's good.
That is very good. I think Armel is not going to die this game. The question is whether he's going to win.
Yeah, we've seen a few games like that before. Puck and what other heroes would be like that? There's one on the tip of my tongue. I need to
Embers?
see the hero list.
I think sometimes
maybe
Embers
there's
pop
Ember.
off, but they don't have enough to actually like clean out the game. But most of the very pog Embers are going to like go in because sometimes you need to die and buy back. So maybe it wasn't the best.
FBZ could buy the Shivas, but likely trying to preserve his buyback status right now. And looks like the Butterfly is next for Monet. Did you just get rid of the Battle Fear, or is that something you drop? Well, you definitely don't drop that. I mean, the Battle Fear you might just sell, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I guess you just might move it out. Maybe hold it for a bit. Or, I mean, you can just sell it and buy the Fly, but he's probably just going to pick it up for like the next crucial fight. Make sure you have Butterfly plus buyback or Butterfly plus this potential high ground push that you want to go for. Because something you could do if you feel really fancy or really strong about it is that you push their base, they use all their spells on you, you start fighting, and even if you die, you just buy back and you go to take the Megas. As for now, they're just trying to clear the map. But looks like Secret kind of see this coming. Because, I mean, from Secret's point of view, no one on Aster's lineup is showing. Literally nobody. Bottom is pushing in all the way. Mid is starting to push in. So you're getting a little... the map looking a bit sus right now.
No, even XXS is queuing up a Nullifier at this point. Sick of these Pavises and whatnot.
Yeah, Force, Glimmer, everything. I really like the fact that we have this item now, because I think it changes a lot of games where, sure, they're buying all these defensive items, and sometimes you just need to be able to snap a guy out of the fight. So when you buy Nullifier, you just give yourself another win condition or like a faster condition to kill someone in the fight.
Oh, Sumail gets off the initiation. He's going to get stunned up, though.
Oh, they break the coil.
Yamich, beautiful lasso
Well
into the balance, and Sumail does not have buyback.
Well,
so just like that, it's a 5v4 advantage for Secret.
I mean, that's one way to kill him, right? Just you coil him, you lasso. At the end of the lasso, you break the coil with it. That was honestly very nicely done. And I think this is just one of the things when you have heroes like Bad Rider in your team. No matter the situation of the game, if you're in the right place at the right time with the right heroes, you can always clutch a guy out of the game.
I mean, what kind of itemization does Sumail need to go for to not get picked up? I feel like this happens so many times. He has the Wind Waker, but I mean, do you need like an Eon disc or something?
I mean, Lincoln's is one thing that can help you to try and not get lassoed, or then at least you would have to like use the force to try and break it from you, which could give you some time. Aeon disc can work, but I think mainly at this time you might just play more carefully on your position. Like I think sometimes it's about you adapting to where you are and how you play, as opposed to, oh shit, now I need the defensive item.
Yeah.
I think he might just stay like this. As, yeah, we're getting a lot of talents in this game right now.
That's right, and we're approaching a very important time of the game.
Oh yeah, 60 minutes.
So
And another tormentor.
And the fourth Roche of the game, which is going to be the most important part of the game.
important.
Sumail shard now.
He'll happily take that.
I mean, at how much does a 22k lead matter right now at 54
Not much. Hold.
Oh, Yamage, lasso initiation, but the battle chance comes out.
Oh.
They get the
He just
Ravage
died.
after the fact. He's going to stay alive a little bit longer thanks to that ult, but the tentacle surprise holds him in place. Down goes Monet. So they let him use the battle chance to get out of the lasso, and then they Ravage.
I mean,
It's actually really good timing.
That was great timing from them. They just get to get him out of the game. This next Roche respawn, that is very crucial though. If it's early, I knew you were going to laugh. But if it spawns early, Aster will either have to buy back or give it up for free. And to answer your
Radiant
question...
side right now.
That is true. As I mean, Secret have... it's a 2-minute respawn, so luckily for Aster. But I would say at this point in the game, like after 50 minutes in the game, if I could pay 20,000 gold to get the initiation I want, I would pay 20,000 gold every time. So if Secret can just find the jump they want out of a smoke from a ward, then this 15k, 20k, 25k net worth lead, honestly, it's irrelevant. They're just deleting 40k on the spot from Monet, so...
Yeah, very true.
Very true. Do you
I mean,
like true statements?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
True.
That's good. True.
That would be an interesting mechanic, paying 20k to get a better initiation.
Sometimes that's how I explain the early game. If you're down like, you're down 5k gold minute 9. How much gold would you pay for your support to have ult at that moment?
That's a good question. Oh, you don't have money though. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, but technically, like let's say you hit minute 10 and your supports get level 6 before the enemy somehow. Okay. Even though you're down 5k gold, you will destroy them with a Phoenix Egg.
Yeah.
Unless you played it.
Well, maybe not Phoenix Egg.
What? That's a good spell.
I guess they did buff it years
This guy
ago.
thinks Phoenix Egg is a bad spell.
It used to be one of the worst level 1 spells in the game. I forget
when
that
it
they
had
buffed
5 hits instead of 6.
Yeah, it was the 5 hits one. That was very easy.
Do you just dive into them and press R?
Yep. Can't use it on high ground. Smoke now from Aster.
40 seconds until the most crucial moment of the game. Here's a rapier queued up on Monet.
Who was that, Monet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he can't die in his ult. We saw that until after the ult's over.
Guess you just need to hit harder in your ult.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. Okay,
I mean, that's the thing about this hero. He's so kiteable. I mean, it's the reason we've been hating on him. Not the player, of course, the hero.
Yeah, the player troll.
Like, you have Yules, you have Force Staffs, Halberd, like
E-Blades.
any kiting, like slows.
Yeah.
Like everything this hero just hates.
I mean, Secret are looking for a clutch play again. They also have Refresher as they
Zip, and they want to kill off Puppey before he gets off that global silence, and they will do so, but he has the buyback. Still holding on to the global, though.
Crystal still has Refresher.
Yeah.
This
Coil
is important.
is down as well as Wukong's, but yeah, he can refresh, like you said. But Coil being down is pretty big as well. Double cheese still available for Aster. They're really holding on to that. Not sure how many Lotuses they have. I'd love to see blocks of cheeses made. As Roche, he's going to be taken out pretty quick if Secret's not careful here.
I think they'll be too late. Also, the stolen Gush on Kaka, honestly, it's a big deal. Like the Aghanim's Gush, it's not a joke. Like 6 AoE, like splash armor that also slows and deals damage is great for your lineup.
All right, so Aegis, another cheese.
The third cheese.
And a refresher shard.
Or is it
for
third
Aster.
cheese or a second?
It should be
I thought it was 3. I guess they used one earlier, so it was only 2.
Okay.
Nope, there's one in the pit, so there's actually 3.
I was going to say.
Yeah, who needs a third cheese when you have 2?
Just sell them all.
I'll just sell them and then buy the troll shard again.
Like, if you can get a refund on the troll shard, then that's 3k.
Oh, that's a lot of gold. Then you nearly have 20k to get the free initiation.
Yeah, very close. Sheep now for FBZ. And all they can do is wait for the high ground to come. I mean, the last time they went, this exact scenario happened, they did kill off Monet with that Aegis and force them to retreat. So can they do it again?
I mean, if Aster just do the same thing, Secret will definitely... Yeah, Secret will just replay it. They're just going to kill him. And at this point, Secret are actually getting more items to then try and do it a second time, right? The follow-up Hex from FBZ. You have a second round of Boundless Strike and Wukong's as well from Crystallis. So it's not like Secret are blowing everything anymore on this first round, because now there's so much gold in the game that you have items to make up for it, and you're going to continue to just have speed and gas to maybe even do it a second time.
All right, here's the other question. Is Aster just going to maintain control of the map and wait for these tier 5s and just starve
Honestly,
Secret
yes,
out?
you should.
But if you're Secret, you should be able to anticipate this and go to the bottom of the map and like stack these like hard camps and be able to potentially get the tier 5s while you're still defending base with one hero.
I think at like 59-30, if you're Secret, just run out on the side lanes. Try to get into this Radiant jungle. So you could even have some pretty nice vision in the Radiant jungle to like help them potentially farm there for free. I'm a bit surprised that Aster don't really have a ward on the map. They have one in the Dire Triangle here where we're at right now, but both teams are definitely going to be talking about these tier 5 items right now.
Oh yeah. Armel, he's going to spot out.
He's trying to get the A on
Pichu.
disc. Not quite though.
Wasn't able to use the Dagon. That would have definitely done it.
Yep. I mean, XXS even piped him to try and save the A on disc.
They're actually going to go in potentially. 59-30 now, so 30 seconds away from the fabled tier 5 items that we love so much. Is he actually going for Divine? I can't tell if this is like a real purchase.
I couldn't tell you.
Quite risky. Quite risky.
They're looking up top for Sumail.
Yep, Sumail, oh, the sheep comes in from XXX, but the Malus Strikes to keep him in place. They're going to try to go into Yamich. That's going to be an easy pickoff. He does have buyback, though. Puppy, he gets Abyssal Bladed. Eon Disc does proc. He just bought back recently, so they have to fight here. Coil to come, Gush to follow, but Puppy does die back.
Oh.
All right, they get the telekinesis. It does end up proccing that coil. But Monet will live. Now Wukong's command down.
Guys, tier 5 items, back off.
Tier 5 items available. Sumail, what was that? What are you going to get?
Oh, the token.
Token.
Debating.
Fallen the Balance Strike. Yeah, I was going to say Fallen Sky would be pretty good to finish this game because of the building damage.
Yeah, just get in there, Sumail.
Fortification is there. Damage, he gets off the lasso onto Monet, but the battle chance comes through. Nullifier applied right now. Balance Strike, big one from Crystallis into the Ravage and the Wukong's command. Again, Sumail dies.
That's a dive
that is
from
the Aegis. And now Monet, he gets Tentacle surprised up. Nullifier applied again. He's trying to right-click his way onto the Monkey King, but now he's completely surrounded. Flamebreak is there as well. Disarm into the Dagon, and down goes the Troll. Sumail has to buy back into the game. They're going to take out XXS as well. Double kill for Armel. Pichu somehow gets out. This pathetic Metamancer gets out in the midst of all this. And now Secret. Not only do they hold, but they can try to get some tier 5 items.
Look at this double Boundless Strike coming in from Crystallis. I'm pretty sure he gets off one. Refresh. Nope, never mind. That was just one.
It was the tentacle surprise. It
really
just
clutch.
like it.
I mean, just nice value. I think Aster are kind of... I don't even know how Kaka died, but I guess he got clipped by collateral damage with some Gush, maybe 1 or 2 Monkey Ring claps, and Secret just kind of showing off all this network they have. I mean, when you're this close in the enemy base, you gotta be a little careful here, brothers. And now who's gonna get all the tier 5 items, Shannon?
Everyone.
Team Secret.
Everyone will
Team
get
Secret.
them. All right, we have an Apex for Monet.
Oh. Ex Machina.
Yep, Ex Machina for Arm. That is god tier.
That's disgusting.
Lincoln's Arcane Blink Dagon refresh. That is sickening.
He didn't have enough spells and so on already, and enough items.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
Tier 5 token on FBZ. Wonder if he might turn it into something.
I mean, what do they want to find? Okay, Book of the Dead to try to finish this game again. So they have Fallen Sky, Book of the Dead, now double Ex Machina.
And double Hex. I still think each team would love to have this Arcanus armor item. The fact that's like literally like an AoE pipe AC. And it redirects damage. That's one of the most broken items for me.
You think so?
I definitely think so. The numbers on that item are ridiculous.
They look really good. I feel like I rarely see it picked up in these games.
That's because Dota players are selfish.
Yeah, maybe.
They all just want to have Giant's Ring. Look at me.
I mean, in a game like this, like the Apex for Monet, do you, we obviously don't know what choices he had, but would you rather have like a Deso 2?
Probably.
Because it does stack with the Deso.
Like,
although he doesn't have Deso anyway, but...
Ooh, triple. I mean, there's 4 Ex Machinas. I think that just kind of shows you the state. Well, Seer Stone for Rubik is very good.
They do have a lot of active
it's on Puppy.
items.
Mirror Shield. I mean, Mirror Shield obviously is pretty damn good. Secret are looking.
Okay.
Looking and cooking.
Initiation. Nullifier means Eon Disc is useless. It was on cooldown, so that's also a reason it's useless.
Useless.
And Secret now starting to get a little bit more control of this game. The lead has gone down from 20k to essentially even.
Yeah, there's the one thing right now is that there's a stolen lasso on Kaka, which maybe that's actually a trade that I will take in the game too. I would feed away my 5 so I get lasso. I'm down.
Yeah.
As yeah, Secret are doing a very, very good job at like holding the game and also getting back into the game.
So is it about the next round?
The ever so important 5th Roche.
Yeah.
I mean, on this entire game is going to be around who initiates, how, where, and who has buybacks. I think those are the most important aspects of this game. I don't know if in Aegis at this stage won't even do all that much because all the heroes who want to have it, they have too many items. They honestly don't care. Maybe you hand it off to, I don't know, like some of you have 3, 4s, and 5s. So that they just have a second life. Sumail's getting closer to level 30. He's got the Fallen Sky himself, but all these Ex Machinas with double hexes, double this, double that, refresher orb, having buybacks, this is going to be the name of the game.
And it's, I mean, this is the point of the game that becomes so fun because it's chaotic and players are not used to all this garbage that's happening. And Yemish somehow bounced. How does he have vision there? Zip away into the enemy base, has to pop his BKB. Attempting to TP out the global silence used. Oh my goodness. Boundless Strike was so close.
Oh, Amel, how did he lasso him?
I don't know how he had vision. I have no clue. But in the end, the bait worked. I guess they had a ward there that just expired.
Apparently. Maybe I'm blind.
That's possible.
Either he has psychic powers on Yamage, or they had a ward and
we overhyped it.
Oh. Oh yeah,
he
on
just
top
of the cliff.
Yeah, that just makes absolute sense.
Okay. Overhyped it a bit. Sorry about that.
Where's Amel though? He just TP'd a moment too late. He could have gotten that because BKB was still on. Close enough though. Now you might get the rapier.
Yeah, maybe. This is my favorite kind of game.
The 5th Roche, which will be very important.
Well, the fact that we haven't seen the Aghanim Scepter just makes me sad. It's always this freaking refresher shard.
That's true, actually. You just always get the...
It's always dire side.
Okay.
Cheese on Sumail now. I don't know if they've even used any this game. They've just been collecting them ad nauseum.
It's time for the Seer Stone, Kaka. This is where the Seer Stone can come into play. You help your entire team. You show everyone.
The Roche office here. I mean, Roche is just waiting.
He could double lasso on Kaka. He has a refresher shard.
Okay.
Like, having steals this late in the game is crucial. It could decide the entire game. As Secret are slowly trying to get more space and get closer to this Roche.
Yep.
Okay, Armel being ever so annoying.
Eon Disc procced already on Pichu, but the Roche has already begun for Monet. It's already at half HP, in fact. Secret, can they afford to give this up? Illusory Orb? Not sure if it gave any vision there at the end.
They see quite a bit with that. Armel
his Linken's pop. He's going to see things inside the pit. Wukong's command with the Boundless Strike, but Sumail gets the Aegis. Lasso, making a double. Getting Wukong's command
double lasso.
Completely canceled. He has another one at his disposal. Another BKB potentially as well as Kaka. Able to live throughout all of this somehow. And the Ravage finally comes out from FBZ. Big Wukong's command again. Nullifier applied to the troll right now, trying to get on the outskirts of this Wukong's command. Sumail able to use on the other side though to keep himself alive. Another Eon Disc procs on the Pichu as Armel on the outskirts now. Somehow barely anybody's died other than the Monkey King. And okay, the bash is coming in. The nets continue.
Oh, the throne is getting attacked
be able to live here. Yeah, the throne is actually taking damage already. What the hell is going on here? They need to go and defend at some point. You can see TP's back now.
Yamage is going back.
See if they continue on here as XXS. He's going to blow up with that reactive armor. Puppy, he's going to get taken out finally. Does have his buyback intact, though, as the throne gets very low in the meantime.
What an actual crazy team fight. The fact that they, I think without this double lasso, Aster might be in a lot of trouble in this fight, but he just took crystals out of the first ring.
Yeah, that was sick.
He, even with all of this crystals, dealt 14,000 damage in this fight. I don't know where Monet was in the start of, I think he was just being slowed and like pushed around by flame breaks and being slowed and coiled up because he didn't get to deal any damage into the lassos. And he still has it, and no more. Oh, but there's another lasso.
The real lasso, this time onto the Troll Warlord's balance strike to follow FPC pops the
Battle
Chivas.
trance.
But they cut down the Monkey King, and this is going to be a dieback on the Chrysalis. He is down and out for the rest of this game in all likelihood as Monet focusing on the Tidehunter. Just gets a refresher now. Does he have time to pop it? He gets it off with the Shivas, but he's going to get right-click down eventually. Triple kill for Sumail. No Tide buyback. Puppy's next on the list. And that should do it as Puck finally dies.
Oh, he died.
Ultra kill for Sumail. And Armel trying so hard to keep this game alive for his team, but eventually Aster takes game 1.
Holy man, Secret made it real hard for them to do this. I mean, Aster are gonna be happy about winning this game, but damn, a 68-minute game? I wonder if going into the next game, if they're gonna maybe worry more about this Chrysalis Monkey King. I think even while winning, that was a tough matchup for them to play into.
Man, very entertaining game. Sumail got up to such a bad... I mean, he died a lot more than you used to seeing on a team that wins with Storm Spirit. But off the back of that troll, Monet, I mean, who would you say is the MVP of this game?
Actually, I don't know, man. Do I want to give it to... I'll give it to Kaka for the double lassos. But honestly, I don't... This game was pretty crazy, and we just see where Troll just has a lot of issues. Even when you're up so much in the game, it's just kind of hard at some point when enemy team gets these items, they can position themselves for you to truly like play a nice and fluid game. So honestly, Secret, while being down a lot, they showed a lot of signs of life and really knowing how to defend and bring the game back.
Yeah. So again, that's just game number 1. Let's go to the panel so they can break this down.
Game number 1. What an insane game number 1. Going the full distance. Who could have imagined it would have ended like this? And I think they mentioned it best at the very end of their Lacoste. Even when you're winning as Troll Warlord, actually winning the game is extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah, as we see, it took them like good 35, 40 minutes to close out the game that they looked like it was already won. But yeah, Troll does that to your own team. It feels like, especially the sounds that he produces with the Rampage shard, with his ulti, it feels like he's going to break the game, kill all of them. Nothing happens, but I'm glad, like if there's one guy, like we talked about it, Monet can make this hero work, and I'm a little surprised that Aster was unable to close out the game, because if we go, I don't know, like 2-3 years back, Aster, they were always like really good when it comes down to decision making, how to close out some of these like mid and super late game games, but this time around it took them good, what, 68, 69 minutes?
Yep, way too long. And VSJ, how do you feel about this? We spoke about the countering of this Monkey King throughout the draft. They opted for a Team Secret. The first time they give it to Chrysalis instead of Yamich this tournament. Was there ever really a point where you recognized the strength past the first 15 minutes? In the lane it looked good, right? In the early mid game looked okay, but it felt like it's the next 40, 50 minutes it just felt very lackluster.
Well, I do think they enabled it pretty well with the Puck and the Bat Rider, as we mentioned. Like, they can keep a lot of these heroes in the coil, but once the BKBs came out, once the Lotus Orbs came out, suddenly these heroes that enable the Monkey King, it's not like you're even countering the Monkey King, you're countering the heroes that enable him because they've already naturally countered the carry Monkey King. Basically, Monkey King, you have to treat him as like whatever counters a Blink Dagger, counters Monkey King, because that hero's entire mobility relies on Primal Spring, which is on a 3-second cancel cooldown every time he takes damage. So heroes like Venomancer, Timber, Rubik, Storm that are just poking with spells make it incredibly difficult. So once the Bat Rider Lasso and the Puck Coil were out of the equation, it felt like he just really fell off.
Speaking of Puck Fear, poor Armel, right, had a blockbuster performance. Like, I made the joke that everybody in this game deserved to lose except Armel, right? He did really well. I'm one of the most impressive Puck performances you could have, especially given the game state. Very unfortunate that this one death was the death that sealed the game, basically.
Yeah, if it was a few patches ago, Puck probably could have solo carried this game, but he played the best he could. It was a flawless performance. Not enough in the end. Dota is a team game. You does need... They just had too many troubles in like the early game, the mid game. It really just felt like Aster was going to take away with this game, but a couple you know, overconfident high ground pushes, I'll say, from Aster really swung the game back in the other direction. I felt like, oh, Secret can actually do this. Armel's getting big, things are happening, but at the end of the day, that isn't what happened. Troll Warlord did prevail.
Troll did indeed prevail, and speaking of Dota being a team game, we have a play to present to you by the STC Player of the Day. So let's take a quick look at one of the reasons why Team Aster was able to eke out this victory at the very end here. So this is somewhat early on in the game, well, comparatively early, given how long this ended up stretching. And you know, Team Secret, they're sort of backing themselves in this situation. Crystal is finding a good position. You're like, all right, maybe this fight can go well for them. But unfortunately, BSJ, when it comes to being this Monkey King, you're all by your lonesome, you're isolated from your team. You can't necessarily be that 1v9 carry versus everybody, despite the amount of enabling you get.
This is the problem with the Monkey King versus Troll matchup. Fear said that, yeah, Troll has always done really well against Monkey King. He's one of the few heroes that sees your Wukong's command and just says, well, I'm just going to hit you anyways, and as long as I'm allowed to hit you, I can survive through this. He's got sustain, he's got built up damage over time, and eventually Monkey King will get worn down.
Yeah. They didn't really have anything to deal with him while he was in BKB either, right? So the other way you can deal with Troll is like if the lasso, potentially you can do that, but unfortunately Kaka had his number and he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, you mentioned actually that Kaka is going to have a lot of ultimates in this game here, Lacoste. He managed to steal Ravage several times over. He stole the lasso several times over. Felt like he was playing both of those heroes better than what Secret was able to provide with their two different heroes.
Pretty much stealing lasso with Aghanim Scepter, I think that's the big one. Also getting free refresher shards from Roche multiple times, and yeah, some of the like spells that you don't expect to be as efficient. He also got Ag, so having that extra ability as well. Like Gush with Aghanim Scepter, it's a really good ability for scouting things out, finding these people, and just like poking from the distance as long as their BKBs are down. It's a really good ability.
Is there anything that you feel that we could have done differently on the side of Team Secret? At the moment when they were in an advantageous position, any decisions, gentlemen, that you could have seen them do that would have allowed them to actually carry this to victory?
Towards the, if we're going to go into the very end of the game, right, it was probably that one fight where Crystallis got double lassoed, bought back, and then they just need to keep playing cool at that point. He got caught out without BKB, no buyback. If they were to just bait the Troll into the fight again, they could maybe just prolong the game even longer, and then at that point, wait for the Monkey King buyback. Of course, we would have had an 80-minute game in our hands, but that's where Secret probably would have won the game.
I think Armel was the problem. If he didn't die there, this game could have been going on forever, pretty much. As soon as he died, bam, game over.
I'm glad somebody said it.
Yeah. Hit us, bro. And on the other side, you know, Sumail, when they were winning the game, right? Fear was mentioning some of these over-ambitious, shall we say, high ground pushes, right? A lot of them involved Sumail going a little bit further ahead of his team, and one of them also involved him buying back but not being able to rejoin the game. Suddenly, Aster has to wait until his buyback is ready again. Going into the next game, is there any better ways they could enable him to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen?
That's an individual thing.
I think that's a personal problem for Sumail. I almost feel like you can sense his boredom in that game. Like he's like, this game has gone on way too long. Like, when do we end this game? Like, I don't think he thought that was necessarily the perfect play. I think it might have been a combination of a bit of frustration. It's been a very long day. We have to factor in the fact that this series I think was supposed to start at 7 p.m. and now it's like 10:30. So they've even probably been going to bed earlier on the previous days. So I have to think it's a lot more than just Dota related problems within the team, and they'll totally be fine to shore it up in the second game. Just like a quick, like, okay guys, you know, catch your breaths, relax. We got one more game and we'll be done.
I mean, to be fair, like, it is a good thing to remember that Dota does contain the human element. These are not robots, these are people playing this game. And right now, this is the last game that is still taking place at the moment. However, if you want to find out more about what's been happening in the other streams and across the realm of the Dota 2 world here at the Riyadh Masters, we send it over to Jenkins to give us the final update of the day.
Hello, I'm here with Aoi 2000, and I'm going to make this quick because his game is on. That's why he's looking over there. Offlane Meepo, this is the first time I've asked you this question. Is this OP or not OP?
I think it's at least OP in pubs, which usually means it's OP in competitive.
Okay. And by the way, they are playing against Talon right now. They're up 1-0, just to be very clear. I believe that's on the B stream. When's the last time that you've eaten macaroni and cheese with your hands?
The last time I sent you a photo of it.
That is proof that he does send photos, because I've said that on panel. People don't believe it. He eats macaroni and cheese with his hands. Can you explain to me why you do it?
Yeah, I was hungry and they didn't give me cutlery, so sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Anyway, thank you for this interview, Aoi 2000. It's been great from you. Thanks for the insights towards the game. And back to you, Snare.
You gotta do what you gotta do at times, and of course that is words from a wise TI winner. In this particular game, Team Aster did everything they needed to do to get the Game 1 victory. However, it was a long, arduous affair, and they still have another game of Dota to play here. After such a thing, after this situation, what's the conversation like? How do you reset mentally to make sure that you don't go in and a little bit tilted into the second game?
I think both teams are feeling pretty good right now, because if you're Aster, you'd be like, let's just not make a couple mistakes. This game was in the bag. We'll just polish that up. No problem. We're going to win the game. If you're Team Secret, it's like, hey, we just almost made a comeback in a game we shouldn't have won. So both teams shouldn't be feeling too bad going into this game, and it should be pretty close.
It was close affair, surprisingly close. I think it was like 30k, almost 40. Net worth swing back in the direction of Team Aster. We'll find out if they have what it takes to close it out sooner, or if Team Secret will be buoyed by the result of almost making a comeback. We find out in game number 2 after a short break.
Puppey is one of, if not the, most legendary captains in Dota 2 history. As the only player in Dota to compete in every single TI, as well as holding the record for having played in the most grand finals at majors and international, it's easy to see why. Starting his career all the way back in 2007, he's played in the pro scene actively ever since. Playing in many different stacks in Dota 1 and meeting players such as Kuroki. The most notable team for him by far was Na'Vi, which he joined right before TI1 in 2011. Na'Vi went on to immediately do great things together, winning the first ever international and, with Puppey at the helm, taking second place in both second and third international. TI4, however, was a different story. Na'Vi didn't meet their high expectations and didn't perform as well as people were used to.
Strikes under -8 armor on him, and it's so easy to finish the job. Whisper's gone, GG 20 minutes in. Quick series, good series, end of series.
After finishing at 7th place, Puppey left the team to join the brand new superstar team, Team Secret. The first iteration of the team consisted of Puppey, Kuroki, No-Tail, Fly, and S4. Despite being full of extremely talented players and looking like a team to be reckoned with in their first year together, TI5 didn't go well for the team, ultimately finishing at 7th place. Following this, Team Secret split up, with Puppey being the only remaining member. This cycle seemed to continue for several years, always having to make some tough decisions after every international. Even though they continually faced tough times, they always managed to recover their footing, with Puppey as the only constant throughout the years. In later years, Team Secret has flipped the script, struggling in the DPC and smaller events, but performing incredibly well at the huge LAN events. 4th place at TI 2019, 3rd place at TI 2021, and an incredible 2nd place at TI 2022.
The Agent's exposed. Do they have enough left in the tank, Liquid? They want to survive, blows up Science, but do they have any more? The Agent is falling, and with that, Secret are going to eliminate Liquid. They're going to the grand finals.
Maybe this year is the year of shocking first place upsets for Team Secret? One thing is for certain, you can never count Puppey out, no matter what team he's on.
Where I would hide.
Puppy the legend from Team Secret, as we saw from that insert, you can never count him out. In this first game, he demonstrated that with his squad. Although losing, definitely making it much more difficult for Team Aster than they would have expected. That being said though, Lacoste, if this was a prior iteration of Team Aster, if this was the Bali Major, they would have lost this game. The decision-making they had at that tournament wasn't the best, but they've clearly leveled up, right? And they look better than they did then. Being able to close this one out, I think, is probably good for their confidence as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we go back to start of the DPC when they played with XWY, seems like something was missing. Then they brought in Sumail, and as you said, during the Bali Major, also seems like there was a missing piece. For now, it seems like it's working out with Kaka. He always brings good energy, brings a lot of experience as well onto the table. I mean, it's not they're lacking any kind of experience on this team because they have veterans who've been playing for a really long time, but teams has been doing better. Like looking at the play-ins, how they played so far, only dropped one game and also managed to bring down some of the big names like Team Liquid. They've been the second best team in the world for a long time throughout this whole season, and they beat them. It's overall 3-1 in the last 2 days.
Yeah, doing very well so far, but one of the things that we were not very comfortable with was them going for the Troll Warlord. And that's not necessarily comfortable with the Monkey King either, so there was context BSJ for that Troll. For this game, do you want them to prioritize Monet's hero earlier to make sure that he has an easier road rather than having to rely on a very specific Troll matchup?
I actually think this team's done a lot better when Monet's prioritized later. I think Sumail has a habit of wanting to pick what vibes for him, and I think if you want to build around a player, which this team has really looked like they're trying to do, they're trying to build around Sumail. If you pick their hero earlier on in the draft, then you have more flexibility for what to pick later. But if you're more so like trying to build around Sumail, but you're picking his hero last, then his hero can't really be what he feels like playing. It has to be what synergizes with the rest of the draft. So I actually like the way they're doing it right now, and I wouldn't mind if they continue that moving forward.
Okay, well, a lot of teams in the past have built around Sumail and have gone on to achieve great success. It has been a little bit of time since he's found himself succeeding on the main stage, but with Team Aster, they could make it happen. So let's get into Game 2 of this group stage matchup of Team Secret versus Team Aster. Game 2 about to begin. The draft is about to kick off. One of the things we saw is that the RML puck, one death, is the only thing that separated Team Secret from winning and losing that game, and from us maybe being in a 2-hour matchup. Going into Game 2, we heard BSJ mentioning that they want to, or he wants them to prioritize Sumail in the draft. Should they be focusing on the side of Team Secret on enabling RML a little bit more, given how fantastic that performance was here?
I mean, they don't need to enable him at all. He'll enable himself from the looks of it. What they really need to work on is just their side lanes. I think this last pick Tide here, it doesn't have a purpose in the game. You do last pick the Tide against the Troll, you lose that lane pretty badly, in fact, and now all of a sudden you're in a situation where it's a first pick Monkey King. He's against 5 heroes that are good versus Monkey King, and some of his own teammates are even good versus his own hero, like the Bat or cutting the trees. This is a really hard Monkey King game. And now you have a Tide who's getting sacked on top of it. Only RML can do something in this game. He needs a +1 core, and that has to happen in the drafting stage.
Right. Bloodseeker was available at the time to be picked up, which I think, you know, people on they see Crystallis, they're like, yeah, Monkey King, you mentioned his win rate over 70%, which is pretty impressive for Crystallis, but I feel like overall for the game, Bloodseeker could have worked out much earlier, I would say. It was still available. Let's see if it's going to be available this time around. Secret banning out Tidehunter. They don't want to play it. Yeah, I mean...
That's not a meta ban. That is definitely a series meta ban.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because they were the only team that picked it, and it was his 10th, right? So Aster passed it up throughout the entire course of the draft. Secret has gone pretty much always first pick Snap into second or 8th pick Bloodseeker. That's been their opener for last 3 games that's been available when they've had first pick.
I haven't had to say this in a very long time because it has not been relevant for a very long time, but some of the teams, when drafting is a bit more wild, it's a little more stable now, and we kind of can predict a lot of the early phases. But back when you couldn't, some teams would get in their head a bit of what they think, what heroes are good. Even if the other team doesn't think it's good, they'll prioritize it as being really good, and they'll ban one of their own heroes just because they think they know something that the other team doesn't know. And I feel like that's kind of happening here. Like, we're getting a first pick Clockwork, we're getting a tied first phase ban here. Either Puppy has a master plan here, or he might be overthinking the last game a little too hard.
It's kind of deny picks the Timbersaw. Out of all the meta heroes right now that are still left in the pool, I think Timbersaw is the only one that's hard countered by Clock. A lot of teams are picking it as a response, so there may be something to do with, like, maybe they don't want to pick Timbersaw, but they want to pick Deuce on 8. They've done that already, so like, what are they going for with this Clockwork? It's the only reason I think of Deuce is it's one of the few laning partners that really enables Clock as a 5.
Yeah, something range with Clockwork, but I mean, Puppy does play Clockwork, but so far at Riyadh Masters, he did not play it. Yamich, also a player that he did play it, and he also excels at playing it. I wouldn't mind seeing this, you know, pause 5 Clockwork paired up with something. I like this one, Drow Ranger. So that's going to be the lane for Team Secret. Gust, great against Storm, can keep the distance, but they will need to heavily protect this Drow Ranger in the second ban phase.
This was all the rage earlier on in the year, especially when people were picking up quite a lot of Primal Beasts in the offlane. So like to see Team Secret doing this. Also like that Coddle has been picked up by Aster before it gets banned out. We spoke about giving him a battery, making sure he has some degree of sustain. They're not going to be relying on Io or Pugna to do that. At the very least now, this also enables Sumail to play a little bit faster in the game as well.
It does, but it worries me on who's playing the Coddle. Is it going to be Kaka? Or I hope not, because I think...
pick you, I think.
Okay, that's fine, but then you have like a POS 5 Coddle. Not something we see a lot of anymore.
If you ask a carry player, who do you want to lane with? Coddle definitely not up there, stealing some of the
They
CS.
will be pushing my creep wave. I will be in front of the enemy tower, and they will be pulling as I'm dying by myself. That is exactly what will happen. But yeah, the Drow Ranger, I was a bit hesitant on the pick because I had to check just to make sure. Drow Ranger is not very good against Storm, like in theory. The reason I think Drow is not good against Storm is because you have to rely on your Hurricane Pike as a way of... The way drop 50 range of her, she does 0 damage. Like, that's just it. And so as long as a hero can stay on top of you, they don't necessarily have to kill you. So once Storm gets BKB, you'd think like the silence is pretty good against him, but he negates all of your impact in the fights. And so Drow has been a traditionally hard carry now. Like, she's become kind of turned into people are even going like Midas, Dragonlance, Ags as a way to like make her scale. And I'm concerned that if you combine Storm with like a Zoo hero, like Lycan, one of her worst matchups, another one, that she might be in for some hurt as an early pick of the draft.
I mean, Yatoro has been one of the players that I've seen just been spamming this in pubs over and over again, and I did a little bit of research on him as well. As like, he goes Ags every game. I was like, oh, is he going to buy this only for the regen reduction when it's good? No, just every single game, and he has an incredibly good win rate with it. So if you know how to play the hero, you know the build, I imagine this can work. But to shift back to Aster just a little bit on what I'm worried about is, of course, the POS 5 Coddle not being strong in lane, but I think a big reason for Aster's success right now is they've been missing that guy who just kind of blinks in and stuns. Then they got Kaka on the team, and that's a specialty. He blinks in and stuns for you. So if he's playing that, it's a world of difference for Aster, because I believe in their previous tournaments they didn't look very good. XSS, he's being a little bit greedy. Sumail was being a little bit greedy, and obviously you got Monet on your team, so everyone's just farming. You needed that guy who just can initiate, get in there. And Sumail can do it some games on the Storm, even though he is a bit more on the farm-heavy side. I think he needs a guy like Kaka who will go in first, and then he can come in a bit later.
So what you're saying to me is that Kaka's going to play Lion?
I would like to see it, yes.
Blink in, stun, yeah, just looking at for some different options. I mean, it's not like the stun that it's great, but I don't know, I'm feeling Snapfire, great against Clockwork, pushes people out of trouble against Drow Ranger. But then again, you do have like Coddle Snapfire as your support duo. Is that good enough? Because you have a lot of squishy heroes on your side then.
You mentioned at the beginning of the series, Snare, Lycan. I want to preach again, this hero owns Drow, like every stage of the game as well, and we've seen XSS play these summons offlaners, and he has a really high win rate. You said he was 8-2, Lycan?
Yeah.
For this
I will add to that. 4 of those wins were on Mickey playing like
carry. Yeah, playing carry like.
Yeah, so even the flex potential, it's not necessarily just have to be in lane against the Drow, right? Once again, it's a hero that has to just stick on the Drow so her aura is not active. And one way to do it is through constant mobility like Storm, and another one to do it is through heroes that cannot be slowed like Darkseer or Lycan. And Batrider, he's going to get up in your face, he can get out of the cogs, likely a support hero.
Blink stun, give it to Kaka.
There you go. Fair
That's
enough.
what we want. Yep.
Preach it.
Yep.
So for Team Secret now, the response from them, they have the doubleopoly. So we're going to be deciding what's Yamich playing, what's Puppey playing. What stands out to you here, Lacoste, that could be decent in the lane? They know what the mid matchup's going to be. They presumably know the support duo. How do they better protect the Drow, but also enable the rest of their team?
In terms of control, I don't think, like, with just these two heroes, they're more than fine. I want to see slightly more with the team fight, something that can, you know, stop from this Batrider from kidnapping one hero, storm zipping in, so have some kind of, like, AoE control on top of it. So I wouldn't mind seeing something for FBZ that's going to provide him that.
What about Armel's puck? Come on, like, last game.
That also works.
There's no way you can't be like, we lost last game, you can't play it again. Like, he was a beast. Let's hope your side lanes do better. It has good lockdown, right?
My only concern is that if you're 5-0-14 on a mid laner, that usually means your Drow's like 0-10. Like, Drow is
So you want to pick something and feed
yeah,
Drows?
No, I'm saying that I think you need a hero that's like meant to go in and tank all the spells. They're not necessarily going to have to die. Like, I like Ember a lot more than the puck just for that reason of, like, maybe Armel's going to die a few times on the Ember, but they have to go on him. Otherwise, like, the Searing Chains combo kind of screws over the Batrider, the Storm Spirit's mobility, which will allow Drow to be in the back and hit. That's all I'm looking for, is what can Team Secret do to either draw attention away from the Drow or actually, like, peel the Drow off of these heroes. And I like Searing Chains and Ember as a concept for that.
Rana would be really good here, too.
Oh, that's good, too. I like that a lot. Okay, that's good for peeling
I
them
was
off.
thinking they'd go for Rana with a Clock and Ember, but...
I don't think they can deal with Lycan right now. I feel like Aster has to pick Lycan here. The way they've picked throughout the entire last two tournaments I've watched them, XSS on a summons hero just makes so much sense right here.
Lycan, Slark could be good.
How do you guys feel about Beastmaster?
Slark is in there. Beastmaster? I think it would struggle in lane against the Clock Drow, would be my concern.
Yeah, I think picking your offlaner makes the most sense here because you do see your matchup. You have quite a few options, but Lycan could be offlane or carry, so that's a flex.
True.
And that would be good.
Running out of a bit of reserve time here, burned through quite a bit of it. At this stage, well, what do we think, Lacoste? Do you want a flexible hero so you still have some options, given that you do have last overall pick? Well, I guess not. You just go for something a lot more stable, an aura builder. What do we want to see itemization-wise from this Darkseer? And is this laning with the Batrider, I imagine?
Yeah, I don't think, like, laning with Keeper of the Light gives you that combo. No real synergy. Keeper of the Light's not going to run in, even though he's fast enough on the horse. I feel like Batrider just synergizes nicely. He can get on top of any of these heroes, run away from the cog, so this is the lane matchup that you're looking into. Like, I've seen a lot of Darkseers being paired up with these position 4 heroes that are like ranged and they don't benefit anything from the Ion Shell. Not a big fan of that. I think Batrider, who's like range hero, does do relatively well with the Darkseer in the lane. So I don't mind it too much, but I want to go back to Dark Willow pick. I think this hero is not picked enough, considering what the hero brings to the table, like the AoE control and also damage. You can, like, build it multiple ways depending whether you're going to be playing as 4 or 5, so you can scale Aghanim Scepter later down the line. If you're playing 4, could become really good.
Will we see, like, the Ag's, you know, Enchanted Quiver Willow with the Drow agility aura that actually gives her damage now, you know, because she's a universal hero instead of just being the intelligence right clicker? I'm just nervous about, like, Darkseer is similar to Lycan, right, in the sense that he gives haste to his teammates and cannot be slowed, and Drow protects herself with slows, so now suddenly, like, this Frost Arrow, Aghanim Scepter timing is not going to be nearly as potent, I would say. But at the same time, what I like about the Darkseer is I think against Clock Drow, the best thing to do is to separate these two heroes, to create like a very chaotic lane. They rely on each other. Clock doesn't do enough damage by himself. Drow needs someone to protect her. So this is like a very chaotic lane from Aster.
So what do we need from the offlane here for FBZ? Team Secret yet again leaving his hero for the very end of the draft. What kind of profile do you want to see coming out of them for his hero?
It's not an easy one. I'm trying to think of that myself. Like, what offlaners could he pick in this position? Kind of wants to make some things happen on the map versus what he sees. What's in the pool? Primal Beast? That could be good for me. Just another hero that can just run around and make things happen right now. Because you can't really punish the lane because you don't see your lane. But if you just pick a strong laner like Primal, that could be quite strong for you here.
And I guess you already have the Clockwork, right? You're not afraid of the Uber counter.
Yeah, the hero's on Aster right now aren't particularly good against Primal Beast right now.
Aster's trying to pick an illusion hero almost certainly with these bans. They banned the Legion and they banned
Yeah, could
Underlord,
be
PL, or
incoming.
Naga. I think PL or Naga are both good here. I think Secret has to see this coming. I really hope this hero on paper counters illusion heroes, otherwise I think they've been bamboozled.
The Primal can do that too. I don't think you want to play like Naga.
Yeah,
into
Primal
that.
would be okay. Primal would be fine.
If it wasn't banned, I'd say maybe FBZ plays tight again, but
Yeah, well, they
That
banned
did
it
not
themselves.
Unbanned, yeah, slash unbanned.
They can't shoot themselves in the foot this time.
so let's see. 35
Maybe the
seconds
temptation
remaining.
was too much. Like, let's not temptate ourselves to pick Tide.
Temptate ourselves. It's getting late, guys.
Well, if this is happening for us, imagine we have to still be in the game. So we'll see what Puppy's cooking. Very experienced. He's been here before after a long day. Knows exactly what's up. So we need something that's going to be able to deal with illusions, help protect the Drow Ranger, have a strong lane. If not for the Primal Beast, Lacoste, does anything else stand out?
Definitely not Dawnbreaker. I did not see that coming, but it's going to give them, you know, some extra sustain when they decide to go on a target Storm Batrider. You use Solar Guardian and also
Lifestealer,
it's
time.
It's
Could be.
what is?
This would be a sick lifesteal game.
Yeah, it's time for Lifesteal.
I actually think it's a good. Oh, they go Medusa. That's so boring.
They missed the Storm Lifestealer first Dawnbreaker chance. It's okay. It's always next game.
Medusa, Medusa, Medusa.
Into Drow.
I gotta say I like Secret's draft here. Maybe I'm a big fan of Dark Willow, so I'm leaning that side. But Team Secret, completely different draft compared to Game 1. And FBZ gonna be playing Dawnbreaker, so gonna be a lot more skirmish compared to the previous game when he was playing Tidehunter.
Does Dusa care about Drow anymore with a new mana shield?
You do care.
Not as much as before.
Yeah, not as much as before. Yeah, I mean I've seen the draft or the matchup play out because Drow does outrange you, so it's something you have to consider as Medusa, where you can actually just get stuck in place because she's just slowing you so much. But I think they thought like the carry matchup's not all that important since they have the Storm, the Bat, and the Darkseer to deal with the Drow. I think it's going to be on Chrysalis to kill Monet on the Dusa, and I don't know if he's going to be able to stand his ground and hit enough times to make that happen. So I think I'm still leaning towards Aster, but I think Secret has all the ingredients this time to make it happen.
To be fair, they have Dark Willow, right? Medusa is not necessarily known for buying this BKB. You can try to prevent her from actually attacking using the Dark Willow out. They have a lot of reach on the side of Team Secret. Does that not make Monet's life much more difficult than it would be otherwise if it was a more standard offlaner, for example?
I mean, I will just say, if Secret wins this game, I'm going to change my outlook of this patch because there's a Dawnbreaker and a Dark Willow in this game, something we don't see very often. I'm not sure what to expect here because normally when you play Dawnbreaker, you want to dangle some hero in the front, save him, come in a bit later. Drow, not really the best recipient of that. You kind of want to stay in the back with there. Ember, not really great with that either. Not really seeing the vision for this Dawnbreaker this game.
So you're saying Aster?
Yes.
Aster, Secret?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Aster, but closer for Secret this game than Game 1.
Aster, Secret?
I'll go with Secret this time.
Let's go.
Right. A nice split panel this time around. We do not have consensus. We do have a little bit of a favorability towards Team Aster. We're going to be finding out exactly what does unfold in the game itself as we send it over to our casters, Sunsfan and Kezu. Gentlemen, what do you think? And make sure that this game is as hype as the first one.
Well, that's a great question you got there. We got a Dawnbreaker picked. I kind of agree with, I love Dawnbreaker as a hero.
Yep.
I agree with that the ult feels like it's a very crucial aspect of this hero, and it doesn't feel like it fits the MO of the rest of the team.
Like maybe they feel that, okay, in the way that then Armel can play in the front when he gets jumped by Storm, or in the lasso that you can save him. But I think it's kind of awkward. So they jump with lasso and Draga got in and you jump in there. You're going to clump up for like a Darkseer vacuum wall as well. So you need to be very careful while playing against clumpy spells when you are Dawnbreaker. That's why traditionally heroes like Winter Wyvern and all these types of heroes are very good. I think Darkseer is kind of, fits that style. So I do agree with the panel, but it is a hero that we don't see very often. So honestly, we might just be wrong, all of us. We could all be idiots.
Yeah, that's
Which you certainly are, but I don't know about the rest of us.
You're not supposed to say that out loud.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
Pretend that I'm very smart.
You are, of course.
So, that was a quick pause. I was
we're
expecting
back.
to have a very long conversation here. We'll see what happens with the Dawnbreaker. I'm in a reserve judgment. Do love the hero though.
30 seconds to battle.
Was there any potential to do any flex stuff here, like because I don't know.
Like putting Dawn mid or something? Or?
Yeah, but even...
Yeah, offlane Ember sounds kind of cringe.
When's the last time you've seen Dawnbreaker go like Ags, like a healing type build? Is that like a position 4 only kind of thing?
Actually, it hasn't been that long. Maybe or like half a year, or it depends if you consider that long. It's happened,
not that long, yeah.
and I think it could maybe happen this game. But I do think the best build for this hero, as Kaka's gonna do some little flame break action to get little puppy Robo Man off his little wings. But yeah, I do think the build you want to go for as Dawnbreaker is this hero lanes very well with Dark Willow in this game. I think he should have a good time. You want to go for like this phase boots into maybe some Echo Saber split for BKB or go Deso BKB. It's like you're like a semi-carry, I think.
Okay.
But,
so the ult is just kind of a whatever thing.
Yeah, I think it's more like what this hero loves to do, or the best case scenario when you play Dawn, you do well in your lane, so they don't really go to your lane. They feel like they have to move somewhere else. And then when they go there, you don't have this ulti threat, so you free farm your lane and you can help somewhere else. That's like the best case scenario for your hero.
You just use it as a pseudo TP and don't really care about the heal as much as well. Right?
Yeah.
Early courier kill here. And then from Aster, I mean, Pugna is not a hero right now. Sadly, the Butler will not be coming back anytime soon because of the nerfs, but that just means Coddle is probably the next best in terms of giving mana. You get 2 heroes in both the Storm Spear and the Medusa that get full value out of Chakra Magic.
It's going to be very easy for him in the early game to play around his heroes, right? You can just carry on to Sumaya later on, keep giving him mana. Something else that might be annoying for FPZ in these lanes, whether he's against Coddle or Bat, they can both push you to the side when you go for a Starbreaker. So I think it might be hard for him to kind of connect his spells early on. And I think there could be a lot of small plays that can happen in this Drow Ranger lane for Crystallis, where you have a pushback with Flame Break and maybe even a vacuum that can suck you in as well. So he's going to really have to watch out for his positioning.
Okay, let's talk about Drow.
Let's
talk about Drow.
Glacier.
I saw that we will be talking about that in just a moment. I think Crystallis picked this up, or has picked Drow. I can't remember was it this tournament earlier in the groups? Maybe it was the prior
There's been people who've played it. I know Yatoro has played it.
Okay.
I don't know about Crystallis.
Oh yeah, maybe it was Yatoro actually. But either way, this hero is almost not picked at all. It's like 2 or 3 picks in the past however many months.
Yeah.
Why was it picked here? And not only picked, but early.
So what? They picked it into Storm Coddle, right?
Yeah.
They most likely just wanted a range carry with Clock to kind of carry it out of the lane, and this is the best dynamic you can have. And I guess they want like a carry that can kind of answer as hold for it. No, Yamage is going to be fine. And maybe they just like it against Storm. I do think that's definitely a two-way matchup. If you get jumped, you're food. Like what you hate as Drow are people that get on top of you. But if you can get a clutch silence, you know, maybe that's what they're playing for. So I can't really give you a better answer than that.
Okay, well that's good enough. We'll take it.
Take it.
Cogs come out from
Farming
Puppy.
Cogs.
Then XXS and company will be A-okay. And okay, now that we've talked about Drow, of course we do have to talk about Glacier. I mean, it's one of the coolest shards in the game. You were telling me off camera that, well, I guess we're off camera regardless. That Glacier is actually better than people think.
I do think
not
it's
just a meme.
The problem on Drow is that she lost her ult shard, which helped her like farm. Like that was like the main tool. I have seen some people go Midas, like Yotoro. I don't know if Crystallis will do that, but to get to the Glacier, I think like the 200 attack range you get, and I think it also provides you like some form of high ground vision. And of course, the more attack range you have, the further your multi-shot goes as well. So honestly, I think the shard is something that is overlooked. I wouldn't say it's like an S-tier shard, but there's definitely a lot of usages on it as...
Hammer coming out from FBZ.
Easy route.
Bramble from Yamich, and FBZ ends up getting the kill first. And Yamich lives thanks to the Shadow Realm. Very nicely done. Hit the W button.
Hit the W button.
And lived.
What a player. As FPZ gets himself the first blood, maybe we'll have to all eat our words. Maybe this will be the best Dawnbreaker game pick carry rampage of the world.
I mean, honestly, Dawnbreaker is one of the coolest heroes in the game, so I wouldn't really mind.
I will agree with that.
Does look like a mobile hero, though. Let's be real.
It does.
Yamich able to steal away a Water Rune.
Also has a Lotus, so that's going to help him also to continue to trade. I mean, Medusa Coddle is not really a strong lane. Like, if they get through the lane with levels and, like, even net worth, they should consider that a win. So I think Secret getting some pressure down up top or maybe even getting a kill isn't too surprising. And definitely, if you're Aster, you want to limit that.
And what about the nerfs to Medusa in this last patch? her Mystic Snake got less mana being taken or something like that, if I remember right.
You have less damage output on Split Shot early on, so it's definitely something you're going to have to look at. Your farm's going to be slower as PG... Oh!
Okay.
That was a nice fake out by FBZ. Didn't actually cast his Starbreaker. He was just swinging a good old hammer.
When you say nice, do you mean not nice?
No, I think it was good.
Was it good?
Because if he had used it, he would have been pushed back anyway. So this way he forced the Blinding Light without using mana.
Okay. Very good.
Oh, very nice Bramble. Does happen. This one was sarcastic.
Yes. I'm just starting to learn your little idiosyncrasies and whatnot, so...
You usually cast for Cinnamon. You have to be used to that.
True. And what about the brothers here? Mr. Sumail on the Storm Spirit and Armel on the Ember. Very similar names, similar heroes.
Sumail is currently dumpstering him. 14 denies at 5 minutes 30. How
bad is this matchup? Is it supposed to be relatively even?
I would say it's supposed to be a little more even. I can definitely see Storm winning this matchup, but I'm not sure about this much. It has to be a lot about these blades of attack that you go for, right? With the Falcon Blade, giving yourself, similarly to the last match, where you just have more right-click damage. And Sumail, he's known for his early laning, what is it, prowess? I think that's the correct English term.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you're listening.
Double damage.
Just as we have active runes coming up. Don't worry, guys. Very professional cast here.
Keep it up. You're doing good.
Yeah. Yeah. We have another Lotus. I mean, I would say most cores are fairly happy in this game, with FBZ being... I mean, he's by far the happiest, right? He got first blood. He's just chilling. And I think he's getting to the state that I touched on earlier, which is what you want as Dawnbreaker. You get a lot of XP. You get all this gold as well. You're going to do well in your lane. You get level 6 fairly freely. And then it's very hard for the enemy team to make a move. Like, if you just hold your ult, it's very hard for Aster to try and make a very aggressive move. Something they may even look for is they go in on Armel, force a zip and try to force the Dawn ult without fully committing. I'm glad you're back.
I'm back. Everything's fine. Problem has been fixed, Kezma. Okay?
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Puppy, harassing a bit here on XXS. I mean, what about the Darkseer this game? Do you think this is a... how good of an illusion does Drow make in these games?
Actually, not that good, because you don't get the... the illusion is just not that good. Drow relies more on this marksmanship and proccing and hitting it out. So I would say his wall isn't super important in this game, but it's more about vacuum. Like Dawnbreaker, Clock, and Dark Willow are oftentimes heroes that can be in the middle of the fight, and grabbing some of these out of control or out of position, it will literally just get them killed.
Yeah. Monet and company will be chasing off a bit here, but FBZ. See, his farm is top net worth right now, so putting us all to shame. But then again, he doesn't have his ult. We talked about the ult being the weird part of the hero.
That is
right?
very true.
So
he just missed the flag bearer siesta.
Okay.
So
just right on cue.
Oh, he's
Thank
missed
you
that
so
one
much,
too.
FBZ. We'll be going for the Echo Saber build, so like you said, not a big surprise. What do you want to see after, a BKB or Deso, something like that? Just full right click?
Yeah, I guess depending on how the game goes, probably, I think Echo Deso is way too greedy, so it's likely going to be a Echo into split BKB, and then maybe Blink or reassemble the, get the Echo once more. But definitely the more right-clicky type build.
And this is a hero that wants to buy Shard relatively early.
Yeah, the Shard is actually very good. As we're having a pretty interesting move, but doing this on Medusa, you have to... I love the idea here, but Sumail's out of mana, so he actually can help. There are going to be 4 people here onto Monet.
Yeah, Crystal is getting active early as well. There's the Gust to start things out to prevent any Stone Gaze, but we can see that's not even leveled right now.
Nerd.
Ends up being a very easy kill onto Monet. FBZ getting credit for that, so his net worth will continue to be in first place, but not too far behind is the Darkseer.
That was actually a very nice move. I think Secret seem a bit more open in terms of making this move. Bottom lane was pushing all the way, so you don't really have any business being there or trying to do something. So they just double use the portal. If a move shows up, sure, we take it. And also staying bottom now, I think for Crystal would have been really hard anyway. Bad Rider is level 6. Darkseer has high levels as well. You don't really pressure, so instead of them making the first move on you, you just dodge the lane and you do it to them. So honestly, very nice early move here from Secret.
They will likely get this tier 1 tower as well. And now that Dawnbreaker, Mr. FBZ does have Solar Guardian, you could use it onto Puppey. I mean, this is a good synergy here with the Cog, keeping them in place. Mr. Kazu.
Yes.
Hook shot available for Puppey.
There
He's
it
going to
is.
use it onto Sumail and then die shortly after, so no Solar Guardian usage, not worth his efforts.
Yeah, he would have joined his friend in feeding, which is not what we want to do, Mr. Shannon.
Very true. They will get that tier 1 eventually. And from Chrysalis's side, that's the one thing about Drow. It's cool to see Drow because we don't see her very often, but the build, I'm sure, is just the exact same it's been for like 10 years.
I mean, it's generally what we've seen. I do think this switch up is new. The first player I've seen do this has been Yatoro on Drow as well, where you build Midas. And I think it has to do with the fact that this hero kind of lost its farming tool, I think, with the shard. But also your first items, they feel kind of weird. Like if you buy a Dragonlance, maybe you can go hit the mid tower, but it doesn't really help you farm all that much. Sometimes you buy Yasha, but I think that's also kind of like just weird. So Midas seems like a nice middle ground item. And also having more levels on this hero obviously helps you farm more, gives you more stats. So overall, this Midas, it's looked really good.
Okay, I stand corrected. We'll talk about that a little bit more, of course.
Solar
Guardian coming in right on top of the cogs. Puppey is there to help facilitate things. XXS does get off his wall, though. Sumail comes into the fray, getting stunned up a bit here. FBZ with that Starbreaking doing massive damage, and the Brambles holding Sumail in place. Ends up being the kill for him as well. So 3 dead for Aster. And Secret lose nobody.
Yeah.
All right, we answered our own questions. Puppey's a god.
He's a god.
It actually is Solar Guardian with the disruption of the clockwork.
We all thought he
initiation.
needed a core player, but he just
we
needed
didn't even consider the support.
Man, we're so stupid. And another, you also saw why they picked Drow Ranger. He silenced the Storm, and then Storm died.
Well, we knew that one already.
No, you didn't. You asked why did they pick Drow Ranger.
Well, just in general, because, I mean, Draw's just not picked.
That is
right.
Very true.
That's why it makes it an interesting topic of discussion.
Yeah, well done.
But back to the more interesting, which is the Midas.
Yes.
I think we've talked about Midas so much in any of my casts, but this actually is interesting. Because, like you said, Manta or Hurricane Pike, whatever the case may be, it feels like it's always the same build. So it's good to see a little bit of a change up here for the Drow Ranger players. It felt like something was needed because the hero just isn't picked.
Yeah. Like, it's just, sometimes you just need to find a different build or something else. Brian also touched on it earlier with like Meepo being able to build Atos or some universal heroes. Like suddenly they have new builds, heroes become more viable. And I think this minute like 9 to 14 for Drow, it's like kind of weird anyway. You're not expected to do much, so just, you know, chilling back with a Midas helping you get this farm and levels. Seems kind of chill. But a very nice move from Secret to just kind of, the first move top was great, now the bottom defense. And if you're Aster, you probably want to look a bit more to skirmish, I think, rather than take big 5-on-5s. Like you want to maybe bait out the Donald, go back, or find people that are like only where there are 1 or 2 heroes and not like 4 heroes at a tier 1.
Multi-shot has a very good sound effect as well. Just want to throw it out there as one of the better ones in the game. Mech online now for the Darkseer. Monet taking out some stacks here. We'll be working on the Manta style as well, so about 1,000 away from the ultimate orb component. But pretty even game. Maybe, who would this benefit right now in your opinion? I mean, you can see FBZ is by far the top net worth, but overall it is an even net worth game.
It's actually hard to say. I think if Aster, there's slightly bigger items that are coming out for Aster right now, which this is one of them, the Blink on
showing it off with the hook shot from Puppey. Nice counter initiation, and FBZ attempting to run away, gets the hammer onto the other side. You can see Sumail gets dropped from 100 to 0. Great counter initiation from Secret overall, as the Solar Guardian will be avoided by XXS, but most of Secret have come now. I guess Sumail has died quite a bit on this Storm in the last couple games.
Yeah, I mean, they're just catching him off guard. I don't know if there was probably like a slight change into Bramble, Terrorize, and then, well, if you stand on top of him with those 2 heroes, Bedlam is just going to shred all the way through him. I think Aster are going to need to look at doing a better job at just making sure that the person they go on, that they actually die. There was a very clutch hookshot from Puppey for sure, but if Aster are more together, then maybe after the hookshot comes in, you get a vacuum wall and kind of go together. Because, yeah, Aster they're crumbling a little bit.
I feel like with these like early games that the carry doesn't have to participate, in this case Chrysalis, I mean, he did come in that top gank early on, but I mean, with the Midas, he's just happy to farm away, and if you can get some kills on top of that, definitely a good start for Secret. But we'll see how this FBZ Dawnbreaker ends up scaling.
He looks like he's going for the halberd, which
build. Okay.
honestly I'm pretty much okay with it too. I think this is a type of game where if he can tank up quite a bit, the damage from Aster is very... it doesn't scale very well in the mid game. Like Medusa doesn't do a lot of damage. I think their spells are going to run out of steam above heroes of like maybe 1600 HP. So him having evasion, stash resistance, and getting even more tanky on this Dawnbreaker could be very crucial to like really help his Ember, his Willow, and his Drow Ranger to just kind of play the way that they would love to.
We have a smoke here from Aster. The only member for Secret down here is Puppey. He'd be happy to tank that gank, but he's not even going to bother doing that. They're just going to waste all their time. Actually gets off a scan as well, so they have a good idea that they are in the area. As Roche will continue his endless journey to the other side.
We'll probably continue to do that. It's going to be... I mean, I think neither team can really take Roche in like the next 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 minutes. I think Puppey just doing a nice chill move. Well, making them come bottom, going away. I mean, yeah, FBZ's net worth, honestly, is quite sickening.
It's pretty impressive. Not a hero you would expect to be 1,000 ahead of everybody at this stage of the game.
Oh,
hook shot onto Sumail from Puppey.
Pushback into the Bramble.
The Bramble. Solar Guardian is coming as well, and it's enough. Full lockdown on Sumail. Another Starbreaker coming out, this time onto Pichu. He's going to get Searing Chains. Here's a counter initiation, though. The lasso on the FBZ, but they don't have the damage yet. Mystic Snake does connect. FBZ getting blocked out by Kaka, so eventually he will fall. That is a big kill for Aster. Ends up being a 2-for-1.
I gotta say, that was a sexy kill on the Storm. Yeah. That was a hookshot pushback into Brambles, into then terrorized Solar Guardian. The Secret definitely, you know, they've got some moves, maybe a little bit of overplay into the tier 2, because when you have this top network and like top level hero that FBZ is right now, you want to try damn hard not to throw your life away. As, yep, Chrysalis is queuing up the Aghanims. This seems like kind of the new build that I've seen as well. Here we see it again. Oh, what a lovely pushback through all the spells. Perfect chainlock, and see ya!
Okay, this is a weird thing to say. Do you think this was a better exchange for Aster? FBZ has almost double the net worth of Sumail. Sumail's literally, it's like you're killing a support. It's almost like killing 2 supports for the top net worth in the game.
It is most likely a better exchange for them, because also these levels like Bat and Darkseer and even Medusa at this point, they scale really well with levels. So after they got the Storm kill, I think they had to like just retreat. But it's kind of hard when you see another free kill, you know. So just good job on Aster to try and reinforce, drop the wall, get the vacuum, lasso FBZ, and just get him out of there.
Did you say Chrysalis was going for Shard? No. Did you say Ags?
Ags, yeah.
Okay. So Aghanim Scepter, that's the old Shard, but a buffed version of it, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hypothermia and whatnot. And I mean, talk to me about this in general, because the old Shard, it would be very important against like really tanky targets that have a lot of high HP regen. So what's the reason for getting it here? Wait, does it also do the second attack as well? Or am I crazy?
The second attack?
Like, does it bounce attacks? Is that part of it, or is it just the hypothermia?
No, I don't think it does that anymore.
Okay.
It just makes it like deal more damage. You get all the stacks where you like start slowing them. If they explode, they just get kind of, they just pop. Also, it makes
like
you more tanky, so it
explosion.
feels pretty good. Yeah. There's no more splitting around. As a Philosopher's Stone on Darkseer always feels pretty good. I mean, he's got the Greaves now too. I think XXS is in this type of position where he can start frontlining for his team pretty nicely. If you get chained, you can dispel it. If you get brambled, you can dispel it. You get silenced. Same story. Like, they have to really clutch you out of the game in order to kill you. And there's a Blinding Light, there's a Stone Gaze, and all these things that can just save you in the game. So I think XXS is starting to get really powerful in this game. Oh, there's an Orchid.
Orchid reveal. Lasso's there, but Solar Guardian is coming in with the Bramble right on top. The stun onto Sumail, but a nice counteraction to prevent the Starbreaker from fully connecting. 2 dead for Secret. So Aster didn't look good at first, but they're getting away with murder here. FBZ is going to get Electric Vortex. You can see all of Aster here to watch him die, and they'll be happy. It's double kill for XXS, 3 dead for Secret.
Ooh. I mean, here we see a bit of the thing that where Aster, they don't really run out of steam, right? They start with this jump here. They even overlap the lasso with the Orchid. But look at XXS, he's running over. The Solar Guardian is great. Starbreaker gets cancelled by the Blinding Light, but here you're just going to have a vacuum wall with the Grief saving his team. And Secret kind of run out of steam, not even together. Like, Chrysalis is kind of debating, should I come? Puppey isn't there, so they need to be more on the same page. If you want to be this aggressive with the rest, your teammates better be close by.
Yeah, just like that, Medusa has now catapulted FBZ, Mr. Monet, to become the top net worth in the game.
Radiant's top tower.
And she'll probably be there for quite a while. As Puppey, he's going to be spotted, but Glimmer Cape, and will actually walk away.
All right, Puppey just chilling. Just gonna walk it off like nothing happened.
Yeah, that was a killer crossover right there.
Getting away with murder, a little bit of an illegal play, on all good from Puppey. Also working on a Solar Crest. He's gonna try to help his team with the Roche later. As I mean, Chris is being very greedy in this game.
He's been farming quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally been farming, apart from maybe joining 1-2 quick plays with a silence. So I assume once he gets the Ags, it's kind of where they want to start going together. Does get himself the Growth Bow, by far the best tier 2 item on Drow Ranger. So he's going to be happy about that.
Is there any tier 3 that you would replace it with? Like the, what's that one called? The one that gives you the extra damage from one hit and it gives you...
Quiver.
Yeah, but that only procs on the first
maybe
attack.
one. It's nearly the same attack range, so I guess you can... That's probably the only one I would like to replace it with. Maybe there's like some weird stuff like some Ogre Seal Totem if you really need to stay alive, but I think that's not what you want to go for. I think Quiver and Bow are probably your best tier 2 items. Tier 2 and tier 3 items, of course.
He has his Aghanim Scepter now.
Did split his Dragonlance, so that's going to help him speed that up. He's going to quickly rebuy this one. And then it's got to be kind of, I think, go time for that. I'm not sure if there's anything else he's waiting for.
I was going to say, you surely can't kill the Torment.
Yeah,
that's the old Enchantress of Sumail. Orchid now.
Caught a little too far away.
Well, half HP, yeah, no follow-up. He will get away as a result.
Yeah. It's very important that even if you cannot kill heroes like Ember, Void Spirit, and Puck on these side lanes, that you force him to get the hell out of there. Like, he's not allowed to just play here continuously, so Sumail just doing a good job. It's not like he really commits a lot. Mana, he just has Kato, he's going to refill him. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to what Secret want to do once this new Dragonlance is coming out with the Ags here on Chrysalis.
And Monet has the Manta, has the Scotty. Now has a tier 1 tower as the lasso onto Puppey. He is revealed now. Solar Guardian's coming. Well, able to dodge the stun is Sumail, but the Starbreaker coming out as well. Not going to actually connect onto anybody, but they have to terrorize onto Sumail. He's getting extremely low, and he's punished again. Vacuum wall onto Chrysalis with the Stone Gaze coming in. Chrysalis TP's out in the midst of things. Didn't find the right angle for the Stone Gaze, I suppose.
Damn, the fact
just like that, it's a 1-for-1, but again, Sumail dead.
And the fact that Secret get out with a 1-for-1 is honestly a very big win for them. I feel like Monet could have maybe stepped in a little earlier. First of all, with using maybe the Stone Gaze to try and help out Sumail, then moving closer as Puppey is kind of baiting. He's very known for just going in, getting all the spells thrown on him. But very nice Bramble into Terrorize. I feel like maybe here you can already use the Stone Gaze, but overall, the fact that Secret get this out of that fight, pretty big for them. I guess he got brambled, unlucky.
Yeah, keeps getting brambled, and...
Glitch.
Wow.
Nice
TP. How is that not enough time to get Stone Gazed? Either way.
Chrysalis
still able to look away.
There's another Midas coming up. Oh, yeah. Gotta love that.
All right, so Hurricane Pike will be next, and then into a Silver Edge, I suppose.
And then the Glacier.
You think he will buy it?
I'm just gonna say yes. Okay. I want to see him stay on an ice wall.
I mean, the game that Yatoro was playing, I'm pretty sure I saw a screenshot of the Glacier. So,
do you know how long the game went for?
No, it could have been the 10th Tormentor of the game.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
there's the first one.
Kaka is going to get this one, of course.
Yep. Nope.
Okay.
Actually, a useful shard.
Yeah, recall. Very good.
So we have a Force Staff and Pavis on him.
Good job.
Thank you. Solar Crest on Puppey. So they could look to soon enough pick up Roche, I think, as well. You're saying, oh, Sumail. They see him.
Spotted. Searing Chain. Solar Guardian's coming. Terrorize is available as well. An easy pickup again for Secret. They have so many ways to control this Storm Spirit, and they have been abusing them.
I mean, they just have Sumail's number. In all of these fights, their stun lock is really damn crisp on it. He even tried to not make Yamage use the Terrorize with the Orchid, but even then, change is too long. Solar Guardian, Starbreaker is coming in, so... Yeah, I think Secret are definitely using their spells very damn well in all of these engagements.
And at what point do they want to group up? I mean, I guess Roche is the next for either team.
Yeah, I would say so. I think for now, Aster, I don't really know if they want to wait for items. I think they're just more so you want to put the map in a good state where Dusa pushes out a lane, then you send Manta to the next while he does another, and then you can kind of smoke up your others whenever you want. Maybe they kind of want to wait for Sumail's BKB. He is down 1k gold still from that, so I think Secret still have some good timings in them in the next couple minutes before Aster kind of get together before this MKB, before this BKB, and before Darkseer's Aghanims.
Well, the MKB from Medusa, I believe, is getting pretty close. So Monet looking very strong right now. But it's all about how they take these fights. And for Secret, I still don't understand like the power spike of Drow yet, so we'll find out
honestly,
very shortly.
As long as he gets to hit right now, I think he's hit his first power spike. Like Midas Axe Pike with a Grove Bow level 18, I'm not sure he could be stronger at minute 25 right now. So if they can try to have this fight where he just gets to continue to hit into the Aster heroes, I think Chris is going to be damn happy. Especially with FVZ being able to frontline for him with what, 3k HP, a BKB, and a disarm? Yeah, he should be chilling.
Flames will spread thrice.
They're going to smoke up. They see Monet.
Sumail is absolutely out of mana if a fight were to break out here.
Yeah, that is true. And he's on the other side of the map as well. They're going to be spotted here by the Rocket player, at least in part. Searing Chains with the Slight. Going to pop that Greaves.
Whatever back means in Chinese right now, I think Sumail is saying it.
Yeah. Oh, that's the Darkseer shard, isn't it? The XXS.
The surge on the ground? Yeah.
It sounds... Okay, when I first read this, I was like, this sounds horrible.
It is actually really annoying.
Really good.
It's something you have to play against as
Puppy. Shot from Puppy.
Slowed, dust. Looks like not too much is happening.
Yeah, Medusa.
Everyone's just making space for Sumail's BKB.
Right on top of the Bramble. Yeah, if they knew that Sumail was out
he's
of
got
mana,
his BKB. He's going to be able to get recalled now. They can take this fight.
They have that available at their disposal. Monet getting focused right now. 6 procs of that hypothermia. And looks like the Bad Rider jumped in trying to look for the lasso, but it's going to be controlled to a high degree. He's going to get taken out very swiftly by Chrysalis. The wall was already placed by XXS. And FBZ, he was trying to continue here, but you can see how powerful that slow is from the Darkseer.
That's honestly an incredibly big victory for Secret here in this fight. There's a lasso was used, wall was used. They didn't get anything, and Chrysalis just kept getting to hit them for free. Now they have full control of the area. It looks like Aster still want to linger around, maybe. I think they're toying with the idea. I mean, maybe Sumail wants... No? Doesn't look like it. That's free Aegis.
Indeed. Chrysalis going to get that. Now he can try to secure these tier 2 towers that are in each respective lane for Aster. I'm sure that's the main priority with this Aegis.
It has to be. They're going to get more map control with this as well. I think if you're Aster, you're going to have to talk about how you want to take this next fight, because the one just now, it felt a little disconnected. Is FBZ going to do a little bounty rune steal?
See the level discrepancy between FBZ and Sumail.
Well, it's a 15 to 18. Yeah, that's honestly
that's
a big
an off-laner. Pretty insane.
He's kind of owning. Nice lane, nice game, good items. Sumail, not the same story for him. 1 and 5. Not something we're really used to seeing from him.
Well, we did see it last game, so I'm getting used to it now.
True. Might as well get used to it at this point.
But they did win, right? So.
I guess they'll win again.
I guess so. I mean, that's what I was expecting if they were going to win that game, which they did, that he would come back with a vengeance, but that he felt like he was the one getting picked up. Do you think there's any scenario where Secret are actually putting too much emphasis on killing Sumail? I know that's really weird to say, but...
Not at the moment. I would say if they like overplay now to really try and kill him, then yes.
Oh boy.
Chrysalis. He's
Chrysalis
all alone.
is spotted. He does have the Aegis. This will give some time for the rest to come in. The Solar Guardian's coming in. Actually will connect onto one hero who didn't get outside.
That's a good wall.
The Cogs from Puppy actually blocking FBZ a little bit. Sumail has to pop his BKB to zip away.
Good
the back wall already used. Double kill for
no.
XXS. 2 dead for Secret, including Chrysalis. And now the BKBs used en masse from Secret just to get away.
Ooh, honestly, that is illegal for Secret to be punished like that. Just a great smoke from Aster to really catch them that off guard, but damn. you really got them with their pants down there. The fact that you get Chrysalis, pull him into your team, Badward is just a really, really punishing hero. It does not matter that you have the Aegis there. So they get to kill him twice, and now they kind of get to turn the entire game. And when he respawns, he doesn't even have the Pike ready as he tried to, right, like stay alive. I think Puppey tried to do a great job with the cogs here, but XXS clutched from him to like keep the vacuum all the way until the end.
Now, so a lot of unfortunate sequences of events there for Secret. They lose a tier 2 now. I mean, this is after securing the first Roche of the game. They're the ones that lose this fight. They're the ones that lose their buildings. And now Aster gaining a little bit more control of the game.
Definitely still in an okay spot. Chrysalis is going to respawn. He's trying to work on his Shadow Blade. He's not too far away. It's going to help him position himself. I think Armel as well. He's been a little silent. His hookshot does miss. Looking for some chains. I think he's a goner.
Well,
it's just too fast.
Normally when you say that, that means they're dead.
Like he's out.
They're a goner.
Yeah, but they're...
Yeah, just saying. I'm just letting you know.
You're helping me. Thank you. I don't know if you really are.
Oh. Another Solar Guardian coming in, but that'll just force Aster back to fully reset. He's a goner. He will live.
I hate you, actually.
No, Academ Scepter now, so I think that's the, if I'm not mistaken, that's normal punch.
Yes, we're casting all the heroes that have like reverse shards and Ags, actually.
Yeah. What do you think of this Ags?
Honestly, it is very good, especially nowadays, even when you punch a hero that's BKB'd, not that it matters so much in this particular game, but you still get the illusion. You just don't punch them. Like, you don't get to stun them. But if he...
You're saying a punch does not go through BKB?
Yes, but you get... The stun does not, but you get the illusion.
Is there at least an animation?
I think you still hear the sound, yeah.
Okay, that's the important part.
Yeah, you will hear the sound, I'm pretty sure.
Good.
But either way, it is very good against Drow. Not so much to get the Illu, but to just have the stun, maybe knock him into your team. You get the punch into the vac. And overall, it can just be a... Yeah, it's just overall in good Ags, I think.
Okay.
Shivas is completed. Like, I think Armel is starting to... Ember always hits this timing from like, you know, minute 10 to 15, you have your Maelstrom, you feel very strong. But then minute 15 to 25, you're not the strongest hero on the map. Like, you poke more. But now, so with some Shivas, you have the BKB, you can really get in this backline and be very annoying to these Aster heroes. Okay. Secret looking for a smoke themselves.
Oh, they actually forced out the fortification kind of early.
Yeah.
That siege did die. Monet, he can siege himself with the enchanted quiver.
He's looking for high ground vision.
Not going to find it, but still a lot of damage done. And now they're going to reset again.
I mean, pretty good from Secret, the fact that they defended their base without really bringing anyone. Like, there's just one clock, everyone is just on the map, farming, getting experience, kind of knowing that, okay, Aster aren't really going to fully commit on this, so Secret definitely got ahead a little bit here in order to try and, you know, nullify the lead.
How many deaths does Armel have in this game?
2? No, just 1.
Okay, he's died a total of 2 times this series.
He's a pretty good player. What do you think?
Sure. Yep.
I was trying to praise him. I'm not trying to shit on you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. He's good. He's very good.
Yeah, you didn't seem very convinced.
I am convinced.
Okay. Oh, vacuum. Here comes a punch.
Shadow Realm.
Oh, let him punch.
Punch.
Let
it's
him
coming for you. Yep. It'll come for you eventually.
In 48 seconds.
That would be hilarious, actually.
You really have to think about that one.
It's getting late here.
Yeah. He's going to fountain camp him and then punch him back into it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. There's a Sumail finishing up the... What do you call it earlier? SNK?
That's right.
We're not going to call it Sanjin Kaya?
No.
Okay.
Why do you call it SNY then? Why don't you say Saint Jasha?
Because people are used to it. But SNK people are not used to it because it's newer.
You know how you start trends? By just doing it.
Yes, I'm not that stupid.
It's just like a meme.
There was someone who, I think it was Gork, who tried making Mjolnir into MJ, and I will never say that.
MJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not into that one personally.
There you go. I'm not into your SNK.
Do you think he'll... I mean, he's not going to turn this into an MJ anyway. Because MJ to me is Michael Jordan.
He will turn it into a Glib Glop.
Wait, that was you.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, the Gleipnir.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of like
credit
that
for
one.
that one.
I mean, the stupider it is, probably the better. As Armel's going to get
a DD
double
room.
damage.
I mean, they want to get ready. His team is already smoked up. They could look, I think, if Crystallis can stay like from the front, but his team can kind of attack from the side to help him really get those hits. And as we have a smoke on smoke action, Mr. Shannon.
Yep, it's going to break up. Puppey gets off the hook shot initiation. And you can see the Terrorize onto the Medusa, pops the Manta. They're trying to control him, but the Stone Gaze finally comes out, which means Secret have to reset. And a big Illuminate coming out, but the BKB's popped en masse. They're going to find FBZ, and that is the biggest target they could find. And Crystallis looks to be next in the cover of his Tier 2, not going to save him. A 3-for-0, and Aster completely in control of this game.
There's too many problems for Crystallis to deal with, or with how they took this fight, is he had to reposition all the time into the back because Kaka's running at him. Then suddenly he has to turn to try and help his team, then he has to run away again, but then he gets 3-man vacuum walled, and Medusa's just too tanky. I don't think they were overall on the same page, and Aster, they're just kind of running it down. Sumail fails to dodge the Curse Crown. It's okay, all smiles.
Yeah, they're going to get, this could be the end of the game, honestly. There's only one buyback available, and it's onto the Ember.
This is going to be at least a double Rax.
Yeah, I mean, they could go for Megas as well because there's no towers in these lanes.
I mean, that's a dataless MKB Medusa hitting a tower, so it's not a joke. Puppey and Yamage can't do anything. We're just going to have to sit here and watch them do this to them.
Yeah, FBZ will be up in 15. Drow, though, Mr. Crystallis 20 seconds away, so it will be 2 sets of racks. Aster thinking about the third, but will fall back in the end, playing this the more disciplined route as they are looking to get this 2-0 victory.
It's time to spend all your gold, get to your next little levels, get the Wisdom Rune on Sumail. He's going to get his level 20 as well, so... Okay, Secret, kind of the next thing you have to look out for now, I think. You've got some of your item timings already, as Armel is queuing up a Halberd, so they just want to... I think new strat is going to be ignore the Medusa and kill his team. I think you have to commit too much, and he has too many saves that... I like the idea where you go for a second Halberd, just Halberd his hero, and kill his team. It might be too late for them to realize this, but it can still work.
And I feel like FBZ has been so farmed this game, but other than the early engagements where you're able to like solo these heroes, in these team fights, it feels like the Dawnbreaker just very underwhelming. Like Stone Gaze is popped, like what can you do against that?
I think the problem is that this hero needs a blink to get into the fight.
Yeah,
and Puppey's jet-padding in there.
Yeah, Puppey.
He's a goner.
Correct usage, good job.
Thank you, buyback.
Magnum Scepter picked up by Sumail, will buy back, so he's not a goner any longer.
Gunner.
FBZ. Big zip in. Solar Guardian coming in as well. Will connect, but Sumail already popped his BKB. Crystallis is dead again. 80 seconds. The Starbreaker does fully connect, but FBZ dies shortly after, so this little mini engagement ends up being a 2-for-1, not including any buybacks.
There's just, I think it's too hard to... This is some of the problem when you play these heroes that need to stay in the back or rely on positioning like Drow, like Sniper. Like, sure, your team goes in here for you, but the moment you show yourself, the moment the enemy team starts going on you, like we see Kaka and Sumail already, like they're just waiting to go on Crystallis, you get lassoed and it feels like your fight is over. The moment you have to run, you're not going to deal any damage on Drow.
Yeah, these Solar Guardians, like that's a melee Solar Guardian.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything. But he does pack a punch, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But it's not the most typical offlane hero that you would expect. Somebody, I mean, I don't remember what was banned at this point. I'm sure a lot was banned.
Like at the last stages of the Dawn, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, like what other offlaners could you have taken? But then again, like he's had such a good game.
Yeah, I think it's more about how they're executing and maybe some of his items. I don't necessarily mind them picking the hero. I think he's showing that the hero has potential. It's not like the pick is that bad, it's just like, oh, they picked Dawnbreaker, so they lost. I think it's still the hero they maybe haven't played as much, or most of us don't know so much about it, because it definitely looked like it has a place in this patch. Glacier is coming soon. That's the comeback.
Okay. All right,
500 gold.
I hope they don't lose the game before he gets that, because I do need to see Glacier.
He can sell his... He needs to multi-shot the next wave, sell the Wraith Band, and then buy it. Because Aster are not giving you time to farm. They're just going to walk it down bottom now. Monet can just tank the tower, hit it,
you
and
can
get
do it.
monoed.
You can do it, Crystallis. We need Glacier in our lives.
I think Amel has the right idea. Like, he's pinging to smoke around bottom. Like, I'm not sure why we're running into the dire jungle, because Aster, they're gonna knock on your door, and there's only one play. You're gonna have to fight this one way or the other.
Yeah, Monet, the siege tank in front. Continuing to do damage to this tower. Sumail forces out the gust onto Crystallis. Doesn't hit anything.
Okay, that's a lot of mana gone.
Yeah, Monet.
There's the lasso.
Does have the Aegis, of course, so not really worrying about dying as Crystallis gets lassoed in. No Glacier available for Crystallis. And he is dead along with Puppey. A big Starbreaker coming out from FBZ, but doesn't look like it's going to be enough, especially with that Aegis still intact. And FBZ now being gone on by Sumail. A nice Searing Chain is going to prevent him to go any further for the time being. Heals up quite a bit with that Starbreaker, but they're forced to call GG. So Aster end up taking this series 2-0, and I am severely disappointed that we didn't get to see Glacier. That's literally the only reason I was excited to see Drought.
Honestly, same. I think some of these mid games for Secret, they maybe have a few random plays that they want to try to sharpen like out of their gameplay. But I think Aster had a lot of tools in their game that, you know, they use pretty well. Play around the Monet, Medusa, even though Sumail doesn't have the best game, they kind of bring it back, have a lot of good initiations. But yeah, it's just, from the mid game on, it felt very hard for them.
Yeah. The draw, I mean, all the heroes look good at some point in the game, I feel like, but it just never really came together in like in a way that would make sense against the Medusa, because you're giving up a hero that, even though it's been nerfed, like you still have to play around this hero. It's super tanky. The Stone Gaze absolutely owns. But yeah, Aster, I mean, going into this series, would you have thought that they would win this 2-0? Is this a big surprise at all?
I mean, I do think that Aster may be slightly favored, but I think Secret are definitely a team that can 2-0 or certainly get a win in this series. So I think it just comes down to some small timings where maybe they fall flat on like using their whole lineup together in the way that they do want, but they're showing very competitive games here. I think Aster looking very good. I think XXS on the Starks here in this game had some very clutch plays, like with some vacuums, Greaves, and just overall looking very good.
Now, and I do believe we have an interview coming up, so let's go check out Mr. Sumail with Tsunami.
That's right, I do have Sumail joining me after a 2-0 performance, which you have treated the crowd to 2 Storm Spirit games in a row here, Sumail. It was the LAN performance that we always expect out of you. One thing I was curious though is tier 5 neutral items. How often are you able to tell your team, like, hey, I'm getting Fallen Sky? Is that a decision that's made as a team, or you just made it yourself?
First off, I don't know if the second game was a treat. It was a rough one. Then I think tier 5, I've got it for first time in pro game, I think. And I had like really bad options. I didn't have a single, actually I got it twice. And so for some reason, Fallen Sky was the best one. The second best was Giant's Ring. Yeah, it was a rough one.
Okay.
أعزائي المشاهدين، معنا سميل هنا في المسرح بعد ما خلص المباراة 2-0 لصالحهم. أداء كان جدا عظيم. أول شيء قال سميل إنه صراحة الجيم الأول يعني ما أشوف إنه هو جيم كان سهل أو بسيط، لأن إحنا علقنا على الشيء هذا، لكن كان التعليق الأساسي اللي كان يتكلم عنه هو بخصوص إنه كيف تقدر إنك تسوي كوميونيكيشن مع فريقك، إنه أوكي أنا الآن على وشك إني باخذ التير 5 ايتم، بقدر إني أسوي الشيء هذا بحكم إنه هو الوحيد اللي بيتكلم لغة والبقية في الفريق يتكلمون لغة أخرى. لكن كان الجواب ما يتعلق بالشيء هذا، يقولون هذا تقريبا أول مرة أنا بقدر إني أجيب الشيء هذا، أو ثاني مرة تقريبا أقدر أجيب الشيء هذا في البرو بلاي.
So now that you have a few games under your belt playing with Kaka, seems quite to go quite well in the play-in stage. Only one game dropped, and still here, only one game dropped. Has your gameplay changed at all now that your support has changed, or it's the same as it ever was?
I think it's been pretty much the same. They now talk a lot in game.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually there's not a single second that's like it's silent in the voice now.
Wait, but is that Kaka mostly talking, or everyone's talking more now?
It's everyone talking, dude. I sometimes I don't know what's going on anymore, you know. It's 4 people talking simultaneously. I don't know if they understand each other, but I definitely don't.
زي ما تشوفون أعزائي المشاهدين جاوب على سؤالنا اللي كنا نتكلم عنه في البداية على موضوع إنه لا أوكي فعلا فيه ناس يعني ممكن إننا نتكلم داخل الجيم حتى وصلنا لمرحلة في البداية ما كنا نتكلم كثير لكن الآن صرنا نتكلم جدا كثير لدرجة إني أنا ما أفهم وش قاعد يصير بالجيم أنا ما أدري وش اللي قاعدين يقولون على بعض وما أدري إذا هم يفهمون بعض ولا لا التيم ميت اللي معاه هذا حكم مشكلة اللغة اللي موجودة داخل الفريق لكن يعني الشيء هذا يبين لك إنه الأداء حقهم جدا ممتاز حتى لو إنهم ما فهموا بعض.
I guess one last thing while we got you here, anything you'd like to say to the loyal fans who have been sticking around to watch you play here at past midnight?
Hey, shout out to three of my boys there. They've been yelling for a bit. Thanks. Love you too, man. Love you too. Love you too.
زي ما تشوفون أعزائي المشاهدين عندنا بعض الشباب الموجودين في الجمهور متواجدين فقط عشان يتابعون المباراة هذه يتابعون سميل معنا في المباراة وزي ما تشوفون هم موجودين عندنا وكان حاب إنه يشكرهم على تواجدهم معنا في هذا الوقت.
Well, you've got plenty more people cheering you on from home, Sumail. Congratulations on this victory, and get a good night's rest tonight. Back to the studio as we wrap up the show.
جاء الوقت أعزائي المشاهدين إن نروح للاستوديو نتكلم فيها مع آخر نقطة على نهاية اليوم لأن احنا في المسرح انتهى شغلنا.
Thank you very much, Tsunami and Fancy. We are indeed wrapping up the show with a 2-0 victory in favor of Team Aster. Game 1, obviously a lot more shaky, but Game 2, they were able to solidify their play. But more importantly, felt like they had a bit of a draft advantage. Fear, you said at the very end there that if Secret's draft was able to win, it would upend everything you know about Dota right now. What is it that they were trying to do with this draft that doesn't comport to your idea of Dota at the moment?
They're just trying to create their own meta, right? And if they were able to succeed with that, then they'd be breaking into new territories. But they're playing some older stuff like the Drow Clockwork, sure, Morphling Medusa not as popular, even though we did see Medusa in this game. And then they're going for Dark Willow, Dawnbreaker. This is way out of the meta right now. Whereas if you look at Aster, a little bit more. Darkseer, very popular. Storm, still popular with Coddle. Batrider, also very popular right now. Medusa, as of last patch, was incredibly popular. It's still good now, as we can see. So this is kind of like meta versus someone trying to beat the meta, and unfortunately the meta wins again.
Yes, Jay, for quite some time though, it looked not too bad for the side of Team Secret. They had a gold lead at some point, they had the early Roshan. FBZ was on the top of the net worth charts for the first 15-20 minutes of the game. When for you did the wheels start to come off and the car completely fall apart?
Well, when they have like one unsuccessful play on the side of Secret where now suddenly the map opens up where Batrider can do whatever he wants and pick off people along with the Storm Spirit, Darkseer pushes lanes, the Medusa pushes lanes, suddenly you're going to be forced to 5v5. Like you can't just outnumber them at any given point for Team Secret. And when you're dealing with Wall Vacuum, the Storm Ags, the Medusa ult, all that added up to just being, you just can't fight into that. It's BKB piercing, AoE, BKB piercing single target, tons of mobility. Even like that Coddle Blinding Light was like game winning when they had that one combo.
Brother Lacosta, you had a good idea about the Dawnbreaker. You felt okay about it. What could they have gone differently in this game for the Dawnbreaker to succeed for FBZ?
I think that one fight that Brian mentioned, where like Blinding Light changed things around pretty much. If they, because Drow Ranger was not there, Clockwork was not there. If that fight succeeds, like because they need to play the tempo. It's okay in terms of scaling going into late game with this type of a lineup. Also, not sure if I liked this Heaven's Halberd as like second, third item on a Dawnbreaker. Maybe it could have been something different, but yeah, FBZ, they tried something different, didn't succeed. I feel like there's still some room to try to experiment a little bit more because, as Fear said, if you won this game, they would probably stick with some new experimental stuff because it shows that what they're thinking about the game right now, it's working. But I feel like, you know, Puppy still has a couple of good ideas that he can make it work.
There's a moment I wanted you to talk us through that I feel like really changed the game in favor of Team Aster. That is, of course, our STC play for Game 2. And as we look at this, this is the situation where there's supposed to be an advantage here for the side of Team Secret. Talk us through this, Lacoste. What went wrong when we're looking at exactly what's happening?
Yeah, this is the fight where they have Aegis. This is the, you know, in terms of net worth, they're not so far ahead, but they should be the one controlling the game. And Kaka, like Blink Initiator, we've been calling it out multiple times. He puts Drow Ranger out of position, and then Medusa ulti comes in. XXS, he had some really successful vacuum walls, and the fight pretty much is over at that point. As soon as you drag Drow Ranger away from the team, she can't reposition herself, and felt Like, as soon as he got that lasso, this fight looked completely over.
Yeah, the guy who making those lasso plays happen, of course, with the Blink Dagger is going to be our Kadia MVP of not just this game, but I'm really sure of the series. Fia, you were highlighting that this guy, when he's on a Blink Initiator hero, you were stressing. You want to see him on this, and did he deliver? My goodness, he did, right?
Oh, of course he did, and this is what he does best, and this is what Aster needed the most. So it was a match made in heaven here, getting these initiations. Sumail doesn't want to be the only initiator. In fact, nobody wants to be the only initiator, and this is something Aster's been lacking for a very long time. Kaka, he's filling that void perfectly.
Kaka making this happen for themselves, and it felt like just fight on fight, things just get a lot easier. Probably also riding the wave of momentum, BSJ, from game one. After you get all those miraculous steals, when you're the one controlling fights with like double lassos in singular engagements, you're the one forcing Chrysalis to buy back, then die back. Game like this must be easy in comparison.
Yeah, it feels very natural watching them play this game. Like, they just all seemed on the same page. It definitely like reconnected after game one. They did look a little bit all over the place in terms of like Storm Spirit on Sumail doing his own thing, and this game was much more of like a unified like team game. And what I love about Monet as a carry player is he didn't hyper focus on the carry matchup. A lot of carry players would get baited into picking like, oh, they have a Drow, I should pick PL, or another hero that's going to get up in her face. But they already had that, and he just said like, we're going to have a hero that allows us to walk down lanes, sit behind, and drag them into the Medusa. We had plenty of catch to enable it, and that's something I've been lacking, or I've not been seeing them do at Bali Major and previous tournaments. So it's really cool to see like their gradual progression over the course of this season.
Yeah, they've been progressing very well, not just throughout the season, but here at this tournament at the Riyadh Masters. They topped the group in the play-ins. You know, things were looking a bit shaky in game one, but yet again, they come out with a 2-0. So looking like Fear, probably a team we're looking at maybe not guaranteed upper bracket, but I'd be amazed and shocked if they don't get into the playoffs.
We're definitely seeing a lot of improvement for Aster and a lot of potential. Unfortunately for Secret, you know, they're 0-4 now, so kind of in the opposite direction here. But for Aster, they should still be happy. You know, they came in from the play-ins. They're doing really well now. I'm very curious when they play some of the stronger teams from previous tournaments, how they're going to stack up. But I do like the way the trajectory they're heading right now.
Very good trajectory for the side of Team Aster. Unfortunately, that does mean that the day of Dota is done and dusted. Before we go, though, there are a couple of things we need to be highlighting from what we've seen today. One of them is something that Fear brought to our attention, the KFC decider play of the day. Walk us through it, fam. What was going on here in this game? LGD, GG. All right, I do remember this clip. Do you happen to remember what happened in this particular point in the game?
Well, we're about to see Quinn go in here with the shield crash. And I think actually, yeah, at this point, Quinn is going to go in. He's going to try to escape here too, but he's not going to be quite able to do so because they're going to be able to bring out the damage here. The Light is trying to heal him up a little bit, but Monet gets it, and then all of a sudden, Duracho, he misses the Chronosphere, barely just misses the Luna there, and that really just hurts GG's chances a lot in this game.
Yep. To make matters even worse at the very end, Ace is trying to escape, gets caught with by the Primal Beast. What can you do? And at this point, this is when we get to see maybe a template of how one can deal with the game in Gladiators. It's been very difficult. No one else has managed to do it successfully, but LGD, with the innovative drafting, they do make it happen. And something else that ended up happening today, Mr. Brian, there was a save of the day, the El Habib save of the day, you know, Dr. El Habib save of the day. Walk us through it. Tell me what we're seeing here. How is this such a good play?
Well, is this going to be the... Well... Okay, this is what I was expecting. So here we go. We got a 5-second arrow coming out. Monkey King stun into the Primal Spring. Manages to escape on the Pangolier. And I believe the stun itself is going to be the save, as he's going to manage to turn this around. No. I see a Centaur Stomp in our future. Manages to escape that as well. That's pretty cool, though. That's like a situation where the support has to be in the perfect spot, right? Right place at the right time. Those type of plays are going to heavily shift the momentum of the game when the mid laner goes down like that. Suddenly, all that investment in time from the enemy team, all for naught.
Well, some amazing plays that we have seen today. Unfortunately, for the side of Extreme Gaming, it wasn't necessarily enough in that series, but, you know, some shades of brilliance, and that might carry them better into the second day. At the very end of today, if you weren't aware of everything that went on across the entire Riyadh Masters, we have our man Jenkins on the ground to make sure we have our final update so you're aware of exactly what's going on.
Hello, everybody, and goodbye, because this is the last time I'll see you. Just kidding. I'm not fired yet. I'll be back tomorrow, but this is going to be me checking out from the A, B, C, and D stream coverage, because today's almost over. Here we have stream A, of course, This is team. Actually, neither of these teams are playing here. This Team Aster versus Team Secret. These guys are just chilling out and watching this game, which is still going on. Why is it still going on? Because we had a lot of 60-minute games today. We saw some Sumail Storm Spirit. We saw some off-lane Meepo, played by your boy, JT. Pakaz played carry Legion Commander, ladies and gentlemen. What a day. We got a lot of 60-minute neutral items. Quest lost with Mega Creeps. We all know how devastating that is, so hopefully they can bounce back tomorrow because they're an interesting team to watch. But that's it for us here. This is the exit right here into the Grand Hall. The players have already made this venture, and now I will make this venture with you. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. Back to you, Snare. You'll be leaving soon, too.
Bye, Jenkins. Take it easy, fam. Well, that is the end of the day, of course. But as you was mentioning, a lot of weird results. You know, we have Mega Creeps, we've got some Meepos in the off lane. Let's take a look what the scores were actually like at the end of the day, because we, of course, noticed the 2-0 on our stream here. The rest of the streams, we had a 1-1 between Tundra and Talent Esports, a 1-1 between Team Liquid and TSM, and of course, BetBoom able to get themselves a 2-0 win over Shopify Rebellion. Lacoste, anything stand out to you here as something you did not expect happening?
Yeah, TSM, definitely a team that is highly stepping up when it really matters. You know, they didn't have, throughout some of the majors, they didn't have like a really good performances. They've been the first team that go out, but seems like they improved a lot, and it's not just going to be another tournament where they get out immediately. So really looking forward to see them play, maybe even getting through the group stage if they keep on playing like this.
Actually, Fia, this is actually a very good story about TSM, right? Because the first time we saw them earlier on in this year when they formed this particular roster, not only did they tell us, guys, we are sticking together no matter what up until we reach TI, right? By surprise, Nouns kind of dropped the ball in that first tour of the DPC. TSM winds up getting to the first major. They get to the next one. As Lacoste mentioned, they keep bombing out, right? Yeah. Let's be honest, based on the state of play you've seen from them this year, this glow-up is honestly beyond reckoning, right?
It's quite good. I mean, they did make it to Dream League as well in the first one and had a decent run as well. Seems like they just don't do well in the DPC for the most part. So we're out of the DPC now. Maybe this is their time to shine. Maybe this is where they're going to flourish. I hope they do well because we do want to see that other team. And maybe Rebellion is a team right now. Like they just lost to BetBoom too, or BetBoom, yeah, BB team. Sorry, but right now, like we need that other NA team that can do well on LAN. Really badly.
Unfortunately, Fear, right? There's an NA curse. BSJ knows this NA curse. Only one NA team can be good at a time, right? And right now, because Rebellion is not doing so hot, right? Does that mean that TSM, they're the ones that are going to be on the come up?
Yes, they shall usurp the throne. You know, Sumail's already gone. The King's throne is available, and TSM is there to claim. Because I feel like Shopify, you know, they're leaving the window open. I feel like TSM has not really been able to step up this year. I know they've had issues with visas and boot camps, and I know that before this tournament, because all the teams were at the Bali Major and they were not, they also had difficulty finding scrimming partners. So I actually think this play-in group did a lot for them, giving them some nice experience with this, like just sheer pumping out an amount of games, because the fact that they managed to survive through it, they had to go through the play-in game of the best of three, basically the lower bracket of like a TI where you're at a single elimination going to get knocked out. That's a lot can be grown in like, what, 3 days?
Within a very short span of time, they've gotten a lot better. Regrettably, Lacoste, the team that we've just seen lose right now, Team Secret, there was some moments of magic genuinely through the play-ins, right? But now that we've hit the group stage, where's that magic gone? Where's the source, man?
That's a good question. I mean, they went through mana qualifiers. It's a different roster, but try to qualify that way through the play-ins. But we can go back to previous TI where they went through last chance qualifiers. So the more games they play, it seems like the team is getting stronger. I feel like maybe the first game against Aster could have been won. The second game also, like the games are not stomps, and this is the progress the Team Secret needed. So I feel like next day or two, they're gonna improve. They're gonna start winning.
Well, we are done with today's round of games. We're going to take a look at exactly what's going to be happening tomorrow, because we have another full set of games to bring you today. And the first set of matches, 9 Pandas versus OG, Gaming Gladiators taking on Evil Geniuses, Quest Esports versus Team Spirit, and then Extreme Gaming versus PSG LGD. All right, boys, what's the hype matchup here? What are we looking forward to the most here?
Oh, there's a lot of good ones here, actually. 9 Pandas OG, good one. But Quest, I enjoy watching Quest play, but I'm going to go with the 9 Pandas game. They've been struggling a little bit right now. I want to see if they can pull it back. Same with OG. I haven't seen Seb play for a minute, so I'm very excited to see him play again. And these are two teams that are kind of middle of the pack, bottom of the pack right now, and they need to get some wins. I mean, we need to see one of them really step up, and we both know they have the potential.
They definitely have that potential. Of course, we'll be witnessing whether they can fulfill that potential once we come back tomorrow for another set of games. It has been a full day of Dota. We're burning the midnight oil, but we do it for the love of the game, for the love of Dota, and to try and crown a champion here at the Riyadh Masters. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. From myself, Snare, my panel, Fia, BSJ, and Lacoste, we say good night. Make sure that you hydrate, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more Dota 2 action. Be kind to one another, love yourself, and make sure that you're here bright and early to witness the Riyadh Masters.